Welcome to the 100th Grey Cup game from Rogers Centre in Toronto, Ontario.
Bienvenue à la 100e Coupe Grey en direct du centre Rogers à Toronto, en Ontario.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming the Western Division champion, Calgary Stampeders.
Veuillez vous joindre à nous pour la présentation de l'équipe championne de l'Ouest, les Stampeders de Calgary.
This is it. Number 100. One for the ages.
The game we've been dreaming of.
One more hurdle. A title shot.
Only one team left standing.
In their backyard, no problem. This is for all the glory. One last game.
The prize is right before our eyes.
We are the Western Division champions.
We are
the Calgary Stampeders.
And now, let's meet the defensive lineup for the Calgary Stampeders.
Et maintenant, voici la formation partante en attaque pour les Stampeders de Calgary.
At defensive end, from Northwood University, number 39, Charleston Hughes.
Ailier défensif de l'Université Northwood, numéro 39, Charleston Hughes.
At defensive tackle, from the University of Tennessee, number 96, DeMonte Bolden.
Plaqueur de l'Université du Tennessee, numéro 96, DeMonte Bolden.
At defensive tackle, from the University of Wyoming, number 99, Corey Mace.
Plaqueur de l'Université du Wyoming, numéro 99, Corey Mace.
At defensive end, from the University of Kentucky, number 97, Anwar Stewart.
Ailier défensif de l'Université du Kentucky, numéro 97, Anwar Stewart.
At linebacker, from Middle Tennessee State University, number 25, Keon Raymond.
Secondaire de l'Université Middle Tennessee State, numéro 25, Keon Raymond.
At middle linebacker, from the University of Alabama, number 12, Juwan Simpson.
Secondaire de l'Université de l'Alabama, numéro 12, Juwan Simpson.
At linebacker, from the University of Louisville, number 11, Malik Jackson.
Secondaire de l'Université de Louisville, numéro 11, Malik Jackson.
At cornerback, from the University of South Carolina, number 8, Fred Bennett.
Demi-coin de l'Université de la Caroline du Sud, numéro 8, Fred Bennett.
At defensive back, from Texas Christian University, number 0, Quincy Butler.
Demi-défensif de l'Université Texas Christian, numéro 0, Quincy Butler.
At defensive back, from Sacramento State, number 28, Brandon Smith.
Demi-défensif de l'Université Sacramento State, numéro 28, Brandon Smith.
At cornerback, from Western Kentucky University, number 32, Darius Brooks.
Demi-coin de l'Université Western Kentucky, numéro 32, Darius Brooks.
At safety, from Central Michigan University, number 7, Eric Fraser.
Maraudeur de l'Université Central Michigan, numéro 7, Eric Fraser.
coach is John Hufnagel. And here are the rest of the Calgary Stampeders.
L'entraîneur-chef est John Hufnagel. Et voici le reste des Stampeders de Calgary.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming the Eastern Division champions, the Toronto Argonauts.
Et maintenant, veuillez vous joindre à nous pour la présentation de l'équipe championne de l'Est, les Argonauts de Toronto.
This is the moment.
The 100th Grey Cup game.
Home field, our city,
Our house.
this
Is our destiny.
there is no tomorrow.
15-time
Grey Cup champions, the Double Blue, the Bolton, nothing but tradition. We are
Eastern Division
champions.
We are
We are
the Toronto Argonauts.
And now, let's meet the starting offensive lineup for the Toronto Argonauts.
Et maintenant, voici la formation offensive partante des champions de l'Est, les Argonauts de Toronto.
At left tackle, from Abilene Christian, number 65, Tony Washington.
Bloqueur à gauche de l'Université Abilene Christian, numéro 65, Tony Washington.
At left guard, from Washington State University, number 59, Joe Appel.
Bloqueur à gauche de l'Université Washington State, numéro 59, Joe Appel.
At center, from Western University, number 67, Jeff Keeping.
Au centre de l'Université Western, numéro 67, Jeff Keeping.
At right guard, from Boston College, number 57, Mark Parenteau.
Garde à droite de l'Université Boston College, numéro 57, Marc Parenteau.
At right tackle, from McMaster University, number 54, Chris Van Zyl.
Bloqueur à gauche, bloqueur à droite de l'Université McMaster, numéro 54, Chris Van Zyl.
At receiver, from McMaster University, number 88, Mike Bradwell.
Receveur de l'Université McMaster, numéro 88, Mike Bradwell.
At slot back, from Sacramento State, number 81, Jason Barnes.
Demi-inséré de l'Université Sacramento State, numéro 81, Jason Barnes.
At slot back, from York University, number 32, Andre Dury.
Demi-inséré de l'Université York, le numéro 32, Andre Dury.
At wide receiver, for the University of Virginia, number 11, Dontrell Inman.
Receveur de l'Université de la Virginie, le numéro 11, Dontrell Inman.
At running back, from New Hampshire, number 44, Chad Cacker.
Demi-offensif de l'Université du New Hampshire, le numéro 44, Chad Cacker.
At slot back, from the University of Hawaii, the 2012 Most Outstanding Player, number 2, Chad Owens.
demi-série de l'Université d'Hawaii, le joueur par excellence de la saison 2012, le numéro 2, Chad Owens.
At quarterback, from Sacramento State, number 15, Ricky Ray.
Au poste de garde de l'Université Sacramento State, le numéro 15, Ricky Ray.
The head coach is Scott Milanovich, and here are the rest of the Toronto Argonauts.
L'entraîneur-chef est Scott Milanovich et voici le reste des Argonauts de Toronto.
Welcome Ontario football players donning the uniforms from the winning team of the very first Grey Cup. Earlier today, Governor General David Johnston presented CFL Commissioner Mark Cohon a Canadian flag to be flown here at the 100th Grey Cup. Carrying the flag and representing the youth of Canada from Ottawa, Ontario, 10-year-old Ava Poggione, and from Toronto, Ontario, 13-year-old Mohamed Assaf. And representing the Canadian Forces, la musique des voltigeurs de Québec.
Plus tôt aujourd'hui, le gouverneur général David Johnston a offert au commissaire de la Ligue canadienne, Mark Cohon, un drapeau canadien qui flottera ici, ce soir, lors de la 100e Coupe Grey. Et représentant les forces canadiennes, la musique des voltigeurs de Québec.
Mohamed, great moments for Ava and Mohamed. Just a few minutes ago, she's 10 years old, accompanied Russ Jackson with the Grey Cup into the House of Commons. Mohamed, when he visited, he was commissioner for a day, and when he visited the commissioner, Mark Cohon, he said, "How long's your contract?" All right, just a few moments ago, the head coaches had a chance to address their teams.
Tonight's the final step. Protect the football. Play with discipline and poise. Find strength in your teammates when things get tough. Remember, the only play that matters is the next play. Man, we've been lying in the shadows all season long. Tonight's the night we step into the spotlight and take what's ours. Tonight's going to be a night you're never going to forget. Let's make them proud of us one more time. EJ, you got it.
Yeah. Let's go. And that one word, team, is the reason why we're here tonight, man. Okay? Because it really didn't matter what 42 players suited up to form that team for that game. We always had 42 men, 40 prepared and focused, 42 men that would scratch, crawl, kick, bite, really to do whatever it takes to win the game. We always had 42 men with resiliency, with a never give up attitude, willing to do whatever it takes to win that game. Win this game, become Grey Cup champs. Let's go. Let's go.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join us in the singing of our national anthem, O Canada.
Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez vous lever et joignez-vous à nous pour l'interprétation de notre hymne national.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Burton Cummings. And now, let's meet our officials for the 100th Grey Cup game.
Et maintenant, veuillez accueillir vos officiels pour le match de la 100e Coupe Grey. Arbitre.
At referee, Glenn Johnson.
Juge de mêlée.
At umpire, Ben Major.
Premier juge de ligne.
At head linesman, Ron Bartz.
Juge de ligne.
Line judge, Tim Croker.
Juge de côté.
Side judge, Jeff Harbin.
Juge de champ arrière.
Back judge, Rob Skaggs.
Juge de terrain.
Field judge, Jason Maggio.
Substitut.
Alternate, Murray Clark.
Substitut.
Alternate, Dave Foxcroft.
Et substitut.
Alternate, Tom Valesi. Fans, as the team captains make their way to midfield, please join us in welcoming our special guests, Governor General David Johnston and Mark Cohon, Commissioner of the Canadian Football League.
Afin de commémorer le 100e match de la Coupe Grey, ils utiliseront pour le tirage au sort d'aujourd'hui le tout premier dollar de la 100e Coupe Grey à avoir été frappé par la monnaie royale canadienne.
After today's game, the Royal Canadian Mint will donate this very special coin to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, where it will forever remind us of this special moment and this special game.
Calgary, you're the visiting team. This is the special coin. That is a head. That'll be a tail. What is your call? Head is the call. Your Excellency, will you flip the coin, please? Head is the call. Yes, sir. Okay, it's a tail. Toronto, you've won the toss. You'll take the football right now. Which side would you like to defend? Stay where you are. Toronto will receive to start the game. Good luck, gentlemen.
The moment of truth is at hand. The ceremonial kickoff. Canada's #1 football devotee, Prime Minister Pearson.
The official party making its way to center field for the ceremonial kickoff.
Ladies and gentlemen, Canadian Football Hall of Famer Chuck Ealey will be presented with the game ball for the 100th Grey Cup by Michael Cote and Tony Porto on behalf of Purolator. Purolator is proud to announce that during this past season, the CFL, its teams and fans and Purolator partners came together to help the Purolator Tackle Hunger program deliver over 1 million pounds of food. Since its inception, the program has helped raise the equivalent of 5.5 million pounds of food across Canada.
Et maintenant, mesdames et messieurs, le gouverneur général David Johnston effectuera le botté d'envoi protocolaire.
And now, for the ceremonial kick with Governor General David Johnston.
Coach, you've been in hostile environments before. Heading in, where is this game going to be won or lost for this Stampeders team?
A big part of this football game is how do we offensively handle this noise, and we need good production on first down.
Thank you, Coach. Here's Farhan Lalji with Scott Milanovic.
Has done well to overcome slow starts the last 2 games. How important is it that you start fast to keep the crowd in it?
Well, we definitely would like to start fast, but I think our team knows it's more how you finish.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks a lot.
And we are ready for a game 100 years in the making. It's been played in mud, fog, snow, and ice by legends and underdogs with Staples and a 13th man. It's been captured by the Sarnia Imperials and an Edmonton dynasty, and even once taken across the border. TSN proud to present the 100th Grey Cup. Stamps and Argos are set their 3rd ever meeting. It was Calgary in '71. Toronto in '91. Who wins number 100? Rene Paredes kicks it off. We're underway. And here's the outstanding player in the Canadian Football League in 2012. Chad Owens drilled at the 25-yard line. Ricky Ray in his first Grey Cup appearance in 7 years, a record of 2-1.
Ricky Ray was part of one of the most talked about trades in CFL history back in December and has been on a roll of late. 11 touchdowns, 1 interception in his last 4 games. There's your outstanding player of 2012, Chad Owens. And Chad Cackert, if there was an underrated player of the year, he probably would win the award. Had a big game against Montreal in the Eastern Final.
First play of the game, and Ray's going to air it out. He's looking for Andre Dury, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Quincy Butler. So a turnover on the opening play. And Ricky Ray has just thrown his 2nd career Grey Cup interception.
Intended receiver was Andre Dury, who's running that patent corner route, a route for Ricky Ray that he has made a living on. One of the best deep ball passers in the game. This one just well covered as Quincy Butler, who's basically a rookie for the Calgary Stampeders, finishing his first full year, played a couple of games in 2011, comes up with the first big play of this Grey Cup championship.
Stampeders did not have a takeaway last week in the Western Final. They set up in Argo territory with Kevin Glenn. First Grey Cup appearance. Here's the top Canadian, John Cornish, and the Argo defense waiting for him, and Brockman for a 1-yard loss. Armand Armstead, the top rookie of the Argos, and Marcus Paul on the tackle.
Kevin Glenn is in a role coming off perhaps his best game of his career a week ago against the BC Lions, over 300 yards passing. John Cornish, a statement year for him. The first time a Canadian has led the league in rushing for 24 years. Maurice Price has been the hottest Calgary Stampeder offensively the last 4 weeks.
So 2nd and 11 from the Toronto 50. And a time count violation. First indication that Calgary has been impacted by the noise.
Time violation. Calgary number 15. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second.
Something they didn't expect. They played in hostile environment at Mosaic Stadium in BC Place to get here.
John Hufnagel mentioned it when he talked to Sarah on the sideline, that this is one of the challenges that his team will have to try and overcome. This crowd is loud.
2nd and 16. Chris Jones' defense showing pressure. Here they come. Flynn will set up and take a shot down the right side, intended for the hottest receiver right now in the Canadian Football League, Maurice Price, but Maude Carroll there defensively.
Well, Kevin Glenn has the 2-and-out, but what a team guy he has been throughout the 2012 season. He was brought into Calgary as that insurance policy, and that insurance policy was cashed in week 2 here in Toronto when Drew Tate was injured. Led his team to a 10-win season, good enough for home field in the playoffs. Sat down in the semifinal, got his team here with a great performance in the final.
Here's Brampton native Rob Maver with the punt that'll bounce outside the numbers and down to Owens, and nowhere to run for Chad Owens as he's dropped at the 12-yard line. A 45-yard kick by Maver. So no damage done by the first interception of the game by Ricky Ray, in his first in 108 pass attempts in the Grey Cup.
Has the edge and experience. This is his 4th Grey Cup championship.
Start deep in their own zone, and here's Chad Cackert. Straight ahead up to the 18-yard line. Malik Jackson, the tackler. Let's set the Calgary defense for you.
Charleston Hughes led his team and was 2nd in the CFL with 11 sacks on the year. Juwan Simpson will go head-to-head against the guy you just saw run the ball, and Chad Cackert had an ankle a week ago, did not play, gets back in the lineup for this one. He's out of Alabama. Keon Raymond has been their best defensive player throughout the playoffs.
Starting lineup brought to you by Rona, proud partner of the CFL, and it's 8 teams. In the flat it goes. There's the initial first down of the game. Jason Barnes has the catch. And Fred Bennett, the corner, with the tackle.
You know, the most important part for both these teams at this point in the game is for them to just settle down. You've got so much adrenaline pumping through your system as you come through those opening gates to be introduced. And it's just about calming down, relaxing a little bit, and get back into just playing straight football.
64 checked in, tight and right.
So up at the 24-yard line, first down. Ricky Ray going to take another shot on the corner route intended for Maurice Mann, and Keon Raymond in stride with the intended target.
Take a look at Ricky Ray in Grey Cups and Grey Cup wins. 2 Grey Cup wins, and he joins if he can get the win today. Very impressive list of great football players in this game's history.
Second and 10. Cackert stays in the block over the middle, and the pass incomplete. Trying to make a connection with Chad Owens, and Eric Fraser, the safety, was there.
Steps up and make a nice hit here. Good timing from Eric Fraser. And you know the safety for Calgary, and Eric Fraser is going to spend a lot of attention looking to find out where Chad Owens is going to line up and provide some help there. This time he is in man-to-man against Owens, a matchup that the Argos may look to come back to.
So Noel Prefontaine, one of 3 Argos on the 2004 Grey Cup team for Toronto, kicking to Larry Taylor. 417 return yards in a game here earlier this year. But the cover team downfield in a hurry, led by Ricky Foley. So second possession of the game for the Stampeders will begin at their 44-yard line. Kevin Glenn ranks 11th all-time on the CFL passing list. The top 10 quarterbacks have all won cups. He looks for his first here tonight.
In his first start, of course, in the Grey Cup, was close in 2007. Didn't get there.
John Cornish will line up as a wide receiver. Larry Taylor in the backfield. He'll take the handoff, and Ricky Foley closes him down.
Look at the Toronto Argonauts on defense. Robert McEwen's in the middle. Pure run stopper out of Louisville. He'll go head-to-head against John Cornish, the league's leading rusher. Jordan Younger is the veteran in the secondary and has Grey Cup experience. One of the few that do for the Argos here in this lineup. And Marcus Ball, tremendous rookie season. One of the many U.S.-born players who wants to move his family here and make Toronto his permanent home.
For Taylor, who comes out, and Marco McDaniel checks back in. 2nd and 6, a fumble, and Glenn gets back on it. Or does he? It's Argo football. Very much like a play last week in the Eastern Final that the Argos lost. Here, Ricky Foley comes up with the football.
Kevin Glenn gets caught looking at defensive end Ricky Foley. Check out how he's staring down the defensive end and not concentrating where he should be, which is where the ball should go in the breadbasket of John Cornish. He's a little low on the handoff with his focus on the defensive end. And the first turnover for Calgary of the football game.
Turnovers even. Handoff, Cackert trying to get outside and does. Chad Cackert, deceptive speed, told us earlier in the week. He's been clocked at 4.31, and I think that would surprise a lot of people.
He has flown under the radar. A very controversial move in some ways when Scott Milenovich, midway through the season or in the first third of the Canadian Football League season, cut the leading rusher in Corey Boyd and promoted Chad Cackert to the starting lineup. And he hasn't looked back.
8 for Cackert, who came into the game with more rushing yards than John Cornish in the postseason. And Cackert ahead. Short yardage an issue last week in Montreal, but it looks like the Argos have converted on 2nd and 2.
See the strategy changing a little bit here with Scott Milenovich wanting to come out early in those first couple of series and try and push the ball deep, maybe get a big play out of the gate and get this sellout crowd back behind his football team in a bigger way, if that's possible. And now in this third series, he's calming things down a little bit, going back to the run and allowing his offensive line to maybe establish the line of scrimmage.
Slow starters in the postseason, just 3 points in the opening quarter of the Eastern Semi and Eastern Final combined. Four receivers come to the wide side. Now Dury stays back in and releases late. There's a pass intended for Barnes, but incomplete.
Chad Owens is going to obviously be one of the #1 targets. Wasn't on that play, but he will be throughout this game when you consider the season he had. The league's most outstanding player and record holder. A record-breaking season. Pinball Clement broke the record in 1997, 3,840 yards. Chad Owens topped that mark in 2012, and in warm-up, war number 31 as he loosened up to get ready for this game.
Last week, Ricky Ray 11 for 14 on 2nd down, 2nd and 10, a pump, time, and now he'll dump it off to Cackert, flying down, and Keon Raymond will wrestle Chad Cackert to the turf.
One thing the Calgary Stampeders understand defensively is that anyone who's got coverage on Chad Owens is going to have to make sure that they know that they've got help in the middle from Rick Campbell and his defense, but also that they are likely to see the football. Chad Owens on that last play tried a double move and was well covered. Ricky Ray had to dump
Major
it down.
Foul, face mask, Calgary number 96. 15 yards from the end of the play. First down.
Defensive tackle to Monte Bolden will extend the drive for the Argos.
Let me just show you the double team that Owens is going to get and the attention that Calgary Stampeders will give him. There's Chad Owens in the slot back position. Malik Jackson's going to get underneath him as he tries to run this out and up. You can see there's over the top help from the Calgary Stampeders' Brandon Smith.
First down, Argos, Calgary 17-yard line. Back inside, Cacker the hole, and Chad Cacker bulldozing inside the 5. Another Argo first down. 12-yard run for Chad Cacker.
Penalty keeps the drive alive, and now the offensive line gets good push, led by Tony Washington at lead tackle. He gets up on Juwan Simpson, opens up a big bubble and running room for Chad Cackard. Here's the penalty from DeMonte Bolden on the face mask. Ricky Ray didn't get to go the way he wanted to Owens, dumps it down to Chad Cackard.
64 is eligible.
DeMonte Bolden got his hands up in the grill.
Andrew Jones in a tight end, and they'll swing it to the near side. Chad Owens, a man to beat. He does. Touchdown. The most outstanding player 2012 strikes first in the 100th Grey Cup game.
Play they've run all year. Try to get Chad Owens in space. Play action to the running back, Chad Cackard, up the middle. Get Chad Owens out in the flat in space and allow him to do what he does best, make people miss in the open field.
Unstoppable last week, 11 catches, 207 yards, and a touchdown in the Grey Cup for Chad Owens. And the Argos cash in after the fumble. Waters adds the extra point. Home side on top by a touchdown, and a little scrap going on the convert. 6-play drive for the Argos after the fumble recovery, 44 yards and a 5-yard touchdown pass to Chad Owens.
Well, there's rubs, there's picks, and then there's takeouts. Chad Owens is going to run the flat route, but watch his teammate Dontrell Inman come down inside and annihilate Keon Raymond as he's trying to get out there to cover Chad Owens. Straight pick, not picked up by the official. Owens gets outside and is in the end zone.
Stampeders did not trail last week in the Western Final, wire-to-wire winners. Down by a touchdown here, midway through the opening quarter. You mentioned Keon Raymond, he's back with Larry Taylor. And it is Taylor from his 11. And Taylor's explosive. Good return up to the 40-yard line. Pacino Horn with the tackle.
You know, for the last 4 years, we've known how good Chad Owens is as a returner. This year, we found out how good he can be as a receiver. Led the CFL in receiving yards. This a flat route outside, taking advantage of that pick, but had over 1,300 yards receiving on the season.
You know, that last fumble by Calgary, very similar to the play Kevin Glenn broke his arm 5 years ago that kept him out of the 2007 Grey Cup. And once again, nothing doing for John Cornish. Ejiro Kowali and company drive him back.
Chris Jones' defense has been talked about all week long. In fact, most of the Calgary Stampeder offensive players were saying, if you can figure out a way to beat Chris Jones' defense, you're really doing something. And clearly, they are geared up tonight to make sure they know when number 9 has the football and get in those gaps. And that'll be led this time by Ejiro Kowali. But look for Robert McCune to be real close to him all night long.
They found a way to shut down John Cornish in the regular season, 43 and 39-yard games. Second down, Larry Taylor takes the hitch. Got a good hole, and now it's a foot race. Larry Taylor, he'll run out of real estate down inside the Argo 28-yard line. That's a 42-yard play for Larry Taylor.
You could just tell by the design of this play that it was going to go for big yards because there was no one inside when Larry Taylor ends up picking up this quick slant. You take a look underneath here, he picks up this hitch, one block up on top by Jabari Arthur on the corner of Ahmad Carroll, and he's gone.
Biggest play from scrimmage for Taylor this season. Initial first down for the Stampeders. Bryce in motion to the wide side corner, straight ahead. And again, limited production for John Cornish, who said if the Argos shut him down in this game, it would mean that Calgary would be destroying the Argo defense through the air.
Very good. Obviously, he's got a lot of confidence in his teammates and in Kevin Glenn and the way that he has played, especially that game ago in the Western Final against the BC Lions. Leading rusher in the CFL. First Canadian to do it in 24 years.
3 carries for Cornish, 2 yards. He's been charged with the fumble. And it's 2nd and 8. Back in his hands, and again, not enough. Qualley with the initial contact once again.
You never know who may step up and be a difference maker. Sometimes it's not the guys you expect that have had the big regular seasons. Sometimes it's a guy that flies under the radar. Gerald Qualley's made a couple of big plays on John Cornish early in this football game, coming down inside. Gutsy Collins 2nd and long to go with the run play. Qualley shuts the door with the help of Robert McCune.
He's a guy that Scott Milanovich uses to fire up the team after he's finished in the pregame. Here's Rene Paredes. What a brilliant season, over 90% from 30 yards out. And he doesn't miss. Paredes gets the Stampeders on the board. Well, it's been a huge week for football in Toronto and a distinct local flavor to this Argo team. With more, let's go to the sidelines. Farhan Lalji.
Chris, after his earlier fumble recovery, Ricky Foley jumped on top of the Argos bench and yelled at the crowd, "This is my city." He's one of 12 Greater Toronto Area Argos. 8 of those weren't drafted by the team. They wanted to come back home and play at home, and this game was one of the reasons why. Now, Foley, among others, admitted this is the first time they've had a real home field advantage with a large crowd. Maintaining their emotions was going to be a challenge. So far, so good.
Ricky Foley, York product, along with Andre Dury. Swim kick by Paredes. And it's bouncing around. Jeff Johnson, another one of those local products out of York, eats the football at the 30.
Well, we had a great conversation with Andre Dury this week about what Farhan talked about and how important it is to play here. A guy that grew up watching Rocket Ismails, Toronto Argonaut, and of course Pinball Clemens.
Went to Exhibition Stadium, said Rocket was his guy, but as a minor football player came here and Pinball grabbed his hat, had the whole Argo team sign it. He said after that, I was a Pinball fan, and I think Pinball's got a few of those guys he's swung over to his side. Argo start right at the 30-yard line, back into the hands of Cackert. And he works his way to the 35. Jawan Simpson and Malik Jackson converge there.
Well, Ricky Ray now mixing things up a little bit, getting the calls in from Scott Milanovich, who has a 15-play list to start every football game and then goes from that 15 plays with a little bit of feel as to which ones he's going to call depending on what's happened in the game early on.
Lee side product Mike Gradwell checks back into the Argo offense, 2nd and 5. Short drive, not available over the middle, and a good catch is made there by Dontrell Inman, who gets up and now gets tossed out at the 45-yard line, but it's an Argo first down. Inman, a guy who had a 2-touchdown game against Calgary and seemed to be the first of the new receivers to have some chemistry with Ricky Ray.
Yeah, back in game 1, 3 catches for over 100 yards in that one, and Dontrell Inman is on the wide side of the field and really has to make a big adjustment here to get to the football. A little pressure in Ricky Ray's face. He has to throw it around that pressure. Inman comes up with a nice catch.
First down at the 45. Play action fake, and Simpson with pressure got a hit on Ray, who has to throw it away.
Juwan Simpson out of Alabama getting a chance in this game to play in that Grey Cup championship. There was some concern he might not make it because of his ankle injury. He missed the West Final, but look at that scrape to the outside, avoiding the block and secondary contain, forcing Ricky Ray to throw it away.
Argos 4 for 5 on second down. Here comes the heat. Ray steps up. He may take off now. Unloads, and Catherine's got to push down. And he bounces down to the 48-yard line of the Stampeders. 17 for Chad Cackert.
Well, if you're a fan of the Canadian Football League and watched games all year, you know we've talked about Ricky Ray's composure many, many times. He just doesn't seem to be rattled by much of anything. Gets pressure up the middle, looks like he's going to run, but eyes downfield the entire time. Dumps it off to Chad Cackert, so it's Cackert that takes the hits and picks up the first.
Tight end left.
Getting plenty of first quarter evidence of why the Argos released Corey Boyd. And there's a fumble, and Andre Dury on the fly sweep stumbled, lost the football, and got it back.
Well, and that's what Farhan is talking about, the fact that these local guys that are living their dream right now in this Grey Cup championship got to just calm down and relax. And the little nerves maybe getting to Andre Dury.
Former running back at York, used in a rushing capacity just to get the ball into his hands a little bit more. Number 3 among Canadian receivers in the league this year. Second and long. Ray Owens underneath. Chad Owens dropped at the 45. Cordero Law is there. And the first decision for Scott Milanovich, and we talked to him yesterday about field goal range. Waters can kick from 52 yards out, but do you want to take the chance with Larry Taylor back if Waters misses?
The dynamic of that decision changes when you consider who's returning for the Calgary Stampeders, and it's Larry Taylor if he misses. So Scott Milanovich at this distance has elected in this case to go with Mo Prefontaine, punt the ball and play field position.
Taylor returned to missed field goal 125 yards against the Argos here earlier this season. Prefontaine for the corner, and it looks like he's hit it, and they'll mark him out just inside the 15.
Here's to the everyday things that end up being everything. Here's to all things simple, with casual clothing and footwear from Marks.
First quarter stats are brought to you by Intact Insurance. Your home, your auto, your business. Intact Insurance, your back.
Well, what jumps out at me right away is the fact that the Calgary Stampeders, with the leading rusher in the Canadian Football League, only have 5 yards rushing and only 2 from John Cornish on 5 carries. So clearly that Argo defense geared up to stop Cornish. At least they did in that first quarter.
And that's intriguing because the Argos were not a good run defense this year, except when they played John Cornish in Calgary.
Well, they're fired up. They know that that is the engine, that is the power behind this Calgary offense, has been all season long. When John Cornish has played in playoff games, he's only played in 3. All 3 he's been over 100 yards rushing. As I mentioned, just 5 carries for 2 yards in the first quarter.
Noel Prefontaine gets the job done. They marked the ball out at the 10-yard line, so a deep field position start for the Stamps to begin the second quarter. Fake to Cornish. Kevin Glennon now will throw incomplete to Cornish when the first option wasn't available.
Trying to get him out of the backfield now, but they're still going to have to stick with him and be patient on this run game, because when you have a guy who put together this kind of season, John Cornish, Canadian, the best year for a Canadian tailback in the game's history. passing Normie Kwong, a record that lasted for 56 years. By the way, that 1,457 yards, the exact number that John Cornish holds the record at Kansas.
Stampeders with only one first down in the game. 2nd and 10. Glenn throwing, and that one is intercepted. Pacino Horn inside the 5. Touchdown!
First question is whether or not Pacino Horn got his arms underneath that football. It looks like from that first replay that he certainly did. That's an interception and a touchdown.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
Scoring play, so it will be reviewed, but
it's a touchdown.
Glenn Johnson doesn't waste any time confirming Pacino Horn has a touchdown. Argos with 5 defensive touchdowns during the year, and the first-year corner has his first touchdown. Otters adds the extra point. Just like that, it's Toronto by 11.
Straight man-to-man defense on this interception from Pacino Horn. Watch the Toronto Argonauts play man-to-man and watch how Pacino Horn is going to gamble here and leave his man when he sees a poor throw from Kevin Glenn. Comes up with his first touchdown in the Canadian Football League on the interception.
Mom was so impressed with Al Pacino's performance in Scarface, she named her son Pacino. And he's so impressed with the movie, he says he watches it every day.
Say hello to his first touchdown.
Yeah. Well, Larry Taylor off and running again. And he'll get forced out by the kicker, Swayze Waters, at the 47-yard line on 37-yard return.
Let's go, get down to the team now.
That takes great confidence. Remember, for Pacino Horn, it's his first year in the Canadian Football League. And in the championship game, to have the confidence to drop your man. Leave the guy that is your responsibility, because you see it.
Legal block on the return. Calgary number 47. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Akwesi Antwi called on the illegal block, and Calgary's taking more penalty yards in this first half than all of the Western Final.
Good for Pacino Horn, though, playing beyond his years of experience to read Kevin Glenn, see the throw that was in behind Nick Lewis, and leave his man make the big play.
Trying to get John Cornish going. Bounce it around, but unable to turn it north. And that Argo run defense has been stiff so far.
I had a good conversation with that Argo defense about John Cornish, and obviously great respect for what he's accomplished throughout the 2012 season. But they said that to try and control him, try and contain him, like they did pretty well during the regular season, as you mentioned, Chris, you could see the numbers. They got to get to him quickly. Don't let him get that downhill run. He's a slasher with great vision. If they get to him quickly, make him jam his feet, they've got a chance, and they've been doing that so far.
Got 4 that time, 2nd and 6. Glenn sets up. Looking for one play. McDaniel almost intercepted. Up in the air was the safety, Jordan Younger, the veteran in that group, and unable to hang on.
Well, most playoff experience, has played in a Grey Cup, and Jordan Younger covers a lot of territory. Reads Kevin Glenn from the get-go, gets out there, and it's his teammate. Knocks the ball out of his hands there.
So Chad Owens is back. And a punt return touchdown, and the Eastern semi against Edmonton. Good boot by Maver. Backpedaling inside the 15 is Owens. And Chad Owens up to the 24, 56-yard punt. 2.5 minutes into the second quarter. Let's check in with Paul LaPolice and the coach's playbook.
Yeah, I've got the best view in the stadium up here for coaches here. Let's take a look at the pick plays that Toronto's executing versus Calgary's man coverage. They've done a great job of it early in the game. Calgary's played a little bit more man than you see. I've highlighted here, that's the tailback out there with the will linebacker. When you see that, you know you've got man-to-man. And now they're trying to outflank and force the halfback to go over the top and gives enough space so now he can't recover. You throw the ball out in space to Barnes, and now just with a little bit of room, he gets enough for a first down. And that's what they have to do versus this man coverage, both teams.
Argos have 14 points off turnovers and have a first down at their 24-yard line. And the play will have to restart. The presentation was taking part at the far end of the field, but with participants still on the field, so wisely play is halted.
Well, interesting, Coach, talking about the man concepts that the Calgary Stampeders are running and how Toronto is trying to run some rubs and picks. In fact, we talked about the pick from Dontrell Inman on the Chad Owens touchdown.
Mentioned Ricky Ray in his 4th Grey Cup game in his 3 previous with Edmonton, all 300-yard plus passing games. Packard. And he is swarmed at the 26.
Now, Calgary fans should understand, too, when you go back to that touchdown from Chad Owens, is we're getting a lot of these picks and rubs. And this Dontrell Inman pick here, if Chad Owens is behind the line of scrimmage, it's considered a screen pass, and you're allowed to block downfield. And upon further review, Owens was behind the line when he caught this football. So you're allowed to make that block. It's not illegal.
2nd and 8. Stamp show pressure. Underneath again. Packard. First down. Jack Packard, who was a quick captain of the Calgary Stampeders, lasted about a week, suffered a hamstring injury after driving all the way out to Calgary.
Well, the first time these two teams played, he was not the starting tailback. At that point, it was Corey Boyd. He did play in game 2 and had 19 touches, well over 100 yards. Has been the key to the Argo offense and a release valve for Ricky Ray.
When he went to Calgary camp, they had Joffrey Reynolds, they had John Corners, they had a guy by the name of Jesse Lumsden. They think the swing pass come the other way, and not much there. Pass ruled incomplete, intended for Mike Bradwell.
First year in the Canadian Football League for Ricky Ray was 2002, but week 4 of that season, he took over for a guy who is down there on that sideline right now. The assistant coach is Jason Moss, and led the Edmonton Eskimos to a Grey Cup that year. They didn't win it that year, but he's won 2.
First time he's had an opponent in the Grey Cup game other than Montreal. 2 out of 3 against Anthony Calvillo and the Alouettes. He gets away from the pressure and goes downfield. Jason Barnes all the way down to the 12. A touchdown saving tackle from Eric Fraser.
Pressure off the edge, Chris, and Ricky Ray's composure. Watch how he steps up, feels the pressure, and avoids giving up the sack. Coming from the right of your screen, he steps up to avoid pressure from the outside, and you got a wide open receiver in Jason Barnes down the middle. Brandon Smith was coming from the halfback blitz. Had a clean shot on Ray. And because Ray bought extra time, it was allowing Jason Barnes to open himself up down the middle of the field.
62 yards. A former Eskimo connection. Ray to Barnes, and a couple of Stampeders injured on the play at opposite ends of the field. DeMonte Bolden and Fred Bennett, or check that, Quincy Butler shaken up, and he'll hobble off. So one defensive back and defensive tackle Bolden. And while they make their way to the sidelines, we'll step out.
DeMonte Bolden on the way to the dressing room to get a couple of stitches. Looked like his helmet popped off and he got hit when it wasn't on. And let me show you that blitz again, different angle. If Brandon Smith takes the correct angle on the halfback blitz, he forces Ray to bubble this way. Because he bubbled, he gave Ray an escape lane up into the middle. It's just a difference of a little bit of an angle for Brandon Smith. Turns into a big play for the Argos.
Good play of the drive. Argos in the score zone. Ray on a roll, pressure on. Underneath it goes, and Cathcart will step out. And a loss on the play, as that was well defended by the Stampeders.
Charleston Hughes steps up and is going to take Chad Cathcart for a couple of steps and then come up and finish the hit on Ricky Ray. And you know, in a game of this magnitude, he'll take this hit to make the completion. But Charleston Hughes getting around the football. Calgary Stampeders need to stop right now.
Hughes with 9 quarterback sacks in his final 11 games, second to Karan Williams. And sacks on the year. Second and long. Ray counted again. Trying to cut back, and he'll be dropped short of a first down at the 9. Juwan Simpson, and Charleston Hughes on the scene once again. And the Stampeders needed a stop after the big 62-yarder, and they got it.
That's a huge play. That's a huge set of downs. That first and second down there to force a field goal attempt here, or this game slips away.
So Waters sets things up from the 16-yard line. Trevor Harris, the number 3 quarterback, the holder. And Waters puts it through. 14-point lead for the Argos as we head to the sidelines in Sarah Molesky.
Chris, it was exactly 5 years ago today in this building that Kevin Glenn had his arm in a sling, a broken wrist, playing for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He wasn't able to participate in the Grey Cup. This is his first time back in the big game since. He spoke all this week about wanting to really take in the moments. He told me that if he was able to bottle what he was going to feel inside the tunnel and sell it, he'd make a lot of money. But Dave Dickenson told me before the game he was concerned about how the emotions and the adrenaline would affect Kevin Glenn, and we've seen the Stampeders offense so far struggle to get going.
Only threw a pick 6 last week in the Western Final and bounced right back. He is resilient, and so have the Stampeders been this year.
Yeah, and he has been the ultimate team guy this year, as we've mentioned. Need his opportunity starting a Grey Cup. That one throw to Nick Lewis behind him. Pacino Horn took it back to the house, but he's bounced back all season long. John Hufnagel said that's one of the things that he's admired most about his backup quarterback, who became the starter in a hurry in Kevin Glenn, that every time he does make a mistake, he comes back, and he's going to have to do it here.
They had the Lions off balance from the get-go last week with that opening touchdown strike to Marquay McDaniel. Spinning their tires so far in this Grey Cup. Larry Taylor's been their most productive. And a return up to the 37-yard line. Kowali with the tackle after a 33-yard return.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 2007, as Sarah mentioned, were playing the Toronto Argonauts in the Eastern Final. And it was a fumble on the exchange as Kevin Glenn goes to get the ball. Kevin Ivan going for it as well. His arm is broken, and Ryan Dinwiddie would start the Grey Cup game for the Bombers. The Saskatchewan Roughriders, of course, won it that year in 2007, led by Kerry Joseph.
First down, Kevin Glenn has time. And pass incomplete, delivered low. Well, it's been a brilliant year for Kevin Glenn. He's probably the most underrated player in the Canadian Football League. And you ask different players why underrated, and Jordan Yunker probably had the best answer for us when he said, well, he's not one of those action figure-looking quarterbacks, but he gets the job done usually, although this is as slow a start as we've seen from Kevin Glenn this year.
It really has been, and part of the reason for that is the line of scrimmage. Can't establish John Cornish here at second and long, makes a tackle.
2nd and 10, here comes the heat, the pass away, and it's complete, and that's a good target to get that offense going. There's Nick Lewis with the catch, a 12-yard pickup, and the leader in second down conversion catches this year in the CFL.
Our Western All-Star, 1,241 yards receiving. And he's in behind, trying to work behind his teammates to try and open himself up for a first down. A little curl route, sits down on it, and that's tough to get your arms around that big body of Nick Lewis.
Last week, 1 catch, 4 yards for us. Down the rail. And that pass incomplete as they try and hook up with Robbie Bryan, who had touchdowns on similar plays in each of the playoff games. Jalil Carter, the man on the corner in place of Patrick Watson's, was step for step.
Yeah, Pat Watkins was an all-star, Eastern all-star, and was basically a decision as to whether or not he would get on the roster was made a couple of days ago. He's got an ankle injury. Jalil Carter did play in that Eastern final and played well and was step for step on that one.
Second and 10 from the 50. Out of the backfield, there's the fullback, Rob Cote, and he is going to be about a yard short of the first down. The Cochrane kid, Rob Cote, former Calgary Colt.
Boy, this would be tempting. This would be tempting for John Hufnagel. He's, as you mentioned, Chris, about a yard.
And maybe a little bit more.
Toronto Argonauts dropped into a zone and basically dictated where they wanted the football thrown. That was underneath to Rob Cote. And Chris Jones knows the linebackers will then rally, and it looks like they're bringing Bo Levi Mitchell in and are going to gamble here early on.
Full yard, maybe a little bit more. Matt Walton checks in. Ami Khan, the former Bomber, looking for his first Grey Cup, number 60. In that double tight end formation. Bo Levi Mitchell. Hands it off to Walter. I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Matt Walter, the former Calgary Dino, is stopped, and Ronald Flemings, the defensive end, on the scene.
Ronald Flemings gets there for the tackle. They'll take a good hard look and bring the sticks in to measure this to make sure. I don't think he got there. The penetration in the middle from Kevin Huntley and from Adrian Obelli forces the bounce. And he's not close.
You're surprised Walter and not Cornish? Third turnover of this first half for Calgary.
Matt Walter has been productive when he has been in the football game, but I am a little surprised that the leading rusher didn't carry the football there, or maybe trying to break a tendency and use Cornish as a decoy. But again, Kevin Huntley fired off the football there along with Adrian Obelli. That forced Matt Walter to bounce, and when he did, Ronald Flemings was able to get there.
Story of this first half so far, that new blue defense led by Chris Jones. Cackard ahead to Malik Jackson. Slows him down at midfield.
Chris Jones, 11 years in the Canadian Football League, 6 of them. He's been the defensive coordinator in Grey Cup championships. And was a topic of conversation for both teams all week long.
Ray under the gun. Charleston Hughes will bring him down back at the 45-yard line. So Hughes gets home and gives those Calgary fans something to cheer about. First sack of the game for the Calgary D.
And this time, the Calgary defense starts to mix things up a bit. They start Charleston Hughes back where the linebackers line up and then bring him around off the edge. And tough to handle. He's got a great motor.
Moved by Prefontaine, and Larry Taylor lost his footing and is brought down at the 24-yard line. Modest beginnings. No Grey Cup played between 1916 and 18 because of World War I, and an influenza outbreak canceled 1919's game. Pass over the middle, and Nick Lewis wide open, and still going. Away goes. Jordan Younger attack. Tackle him and collars him at the 25. Lewis lost the helmet, but he has just kick-started the Calgary offense 61 yards.
Nick Lewis, throughout the playoffs over the last couple of years, has been in tough, but the last time the Calgary Stampeders played in a Grey Cup game, one they won back in 2008, Nick Lewis had a monster game, over 100 yards on 11 catches there. They get a little bit of momentum back from Charleston Hughes defensively, and then Nick Lewis picks up the ball from there.
Remarkably, he has never had a postseason touchdown. And here's a pass for Bryant, different formation, and Robbie Bryant's down inside the 10-yard line. Jalil Carter the tackle that time.
Robbie Bryant does a nice job of selling that he's going to come in and look like he's going to protect in the passing game. As Bryant's on the outside, watch him try and look like he's going to check, and then he shoots out and gets into the flat in a hurry. This is selling the play, influencing the defense with your movement, and he didn't. Jordan Younger doesn't pick him up coming out of the backfield.
First time into the red zone for the Stampeders. A drive that started at their 24-yard line. And John Hufnagel sees his offense first and goal. Nick Lewis, 1 catch, 4 yards last week, the lowest production in any game of his career. Said it didn't matter. He drew attention away from the guys that did the damage. But it's Lewis that's got them going now. Cornish. And John Cornish battles his way down to the 3. Ahmad Carroll there to stop him. And the sidelines are given the 3-minute warning here in the opening half of the 100th Grey Cup game. Argos with a 14-point lead, but the Stampeders are threatening. At halftime show, 3 minutes away. The sack tally brought to Purolator, tackling hunger across Canada. Check.
Promotion collected over 1 million pounds of food for people who need it most in this country, and this is playoff before Grey Cup performances. Grover Covington leading the way. 1986 with 5 in 1 game. Charleston Hughes got one tonight.
Junior Ayus, great names on that board. Fly swing. Robbie Bryant tackled back at the 10. Big defensive play to Jiro Kowali is having the game of the season for him.
And maybe his best game as a Toronto Argonaut in his 3rd year out of LSU. And he's been all over John Cornish, and this time just pure speed as Robbie Bryant, one of the fastest receivers in the league, often will get the corner on a defensive lineman, a linebacker, and he does it on Kowal.
So Rene Paredes comes in. Boldy by Mitchell with the pin. And the Stampeders settled for 3. Well, we mentioned the first game at Rosedale Field. Then the Grey Cup moved to varsity. 30 Grey Cups at Varsity Stadium here in Toronto. And then it was on to Exhibition Stadium. We had 12 games there. The last in 1982. And here at Rogers Center, it's the 4th game. 1989, one you will never forget. And Norwell fans of the Canadian Football League. 47th game of the 100 Grey Cups played in Toronto. And the home team has the lead. Ricky Ray underneath. Andre Drury shakes off the hit. Great second effort. And a first down for the former York Lion.
Well, Andre Drury is now settled down a little bit. Remember that first play? They tried to get the football to him on a little handoff. He stumbled a little bit, probably some nerves, and settles in now as we approach halftime here. Nice gain up the middle.
13 for Drury, first down, 48-yard line. Drury set up as a back, and the pitch and Packer finds a crease. And the old Bulldog is way down to the 44. The number on his back for Chad Cackert is the Argo line of scrimmage after an 18-yard run.
As a little example of that speed you talked about, Chris, is Chad Cackert. Played his college ball at New Hampshire. And the defenders for the Calgary Stampeders talked at length this week about Chad Cackert and his underrated speed. Watch his cuts, and that he keeps that downhill momentum, that speed going down the field, even though he's cutting back and forth, making people miss.
Again, a guy who replaced the leading rusher in the league. Ray sets up, he's got time. And the defensive play made by Brandon Smith to separate Jason Barnes from the football.
Well, that's excellent coverage downfield by the Calgary secondary, because Ricky Ray had time to have a coffee back there, survey the entire field, and couldn't find an open receiver.
Big 62-yard play to Jason Barnes, inflating the Ray numbers. But you're right, that Argo offensive line's giving him time, and it has been maligned at times this year for struggling without Wayne Smith. Injured in the final game of the regular season. Again, more time. Cackert. Malik Jackson trying to collar him. But Chad Cackert fighting his way close to another first down.
Again, lots of time for Ricky Ray, and if the Calgary Stampeders can't get more pressure, he's going to start making big plays down the field. Watch this. Pressure picked up. Charleston Hughes in the middle. Picked up nicely by Joe Appel. And then Ray slides to his left. All kinds of time. His deep receiver's well covered. So he dumps it down to Chad Cackert to get close to that first down marker. In fact, they do move the chains.
Corey Mace has been shaken up on the play. Well, Cackert has outplayed John Cornish so far. There's Mace. And Chad Cackert already over 100 yards of offense on the night.
Football games, as we've talked about many times, Chris, have often won and lost in that line of scrimmage. And in this game, even though it's a game of this magnitude, a championship, it really doesn't change the fundamentals of football. Right now, that Toronto offensive line is giving Ray tons of time to throw the ball. Now, the Calgary secondary is hanging in there, and they're taking away the deep routes. He hasn't been able to, in this series, go down the field.
Take a look at what happened to defensive tackle Corey Mace.
Chris Van Zyl coming back.
Native of Port Moody, BC, which also happens to be the hometown of one of the greatest defensive tackles in the history of this league, Doug Brown. And Corey Mace's elementary school career counselor was Doug's mom, and talked about her son and his success and helped motivate Corey Mace, who wants to do what another Port Moody Blue has done in the past, except he wants to go one further. Doug Brown never won a Grey Cup game. Devontae Bolden, who was injured earlier, checks back in for Mace. First down, Ray, lots of time, he wants Inman. What a catch! Dontrell Inman at the one, out battling Brandon Smith.
If you give Ricky Ray this much time in the pocket, he is arguably the best deep ball thrower in CFL history, and there have been some great passers in this game. but Ricky Ray put it where only Dontrell Inman, up on that outside shoulder. Brandon Smith would have had to make a miraculous play to get there. Well, you give him time. Now, did he survive contact with the ground? Stayed in bounds.
And the challenge flag from the Argos sideline. They think this is a touchdown. And do they have a case as he falls backward onto the pylon? Now his backside hits the pylon. Does the football
Toronto was
break the
challenging
plane?
the ruling on the play that the player was down prior to scoring. They believe it was a touchdown. We'll review the play.
Mentioned earlier, Inman with a 2-touchdown game against Calgary. A first-year receiver who has really made an impact in this Toronto offense.
Well, first of all, that's the ball, as you mentioned, Chris, has got to cross the plane of the goal line. Dontrell Inman could have physically been in. The question is, was the ball across?
But he does look like he pulls that ball across in the direction of the pylon.
In other words, your foot could be in, your entire body could be in, but if you reach back outside of the goal line and catch it outside, still could be ruled down on the 1-yard line. This is a close one to call.
And again, is there enough evidence to overturn?
Because you're right, he's still up and not down by contact while he's turning the ball towards the goal line.
This might be the best look at. That looks like the ball comes right across the orange pylon.
This may just fall in the category of not enough evidence to overturn it.
Fans watching it in-house, and obviously predominantly Argo fans are anticipating that it might be a touchdown.
Take this quick opportunity to say congratulations to all of the organizers of this Grey Cup. It has been outstanding all week long. The festival jam-packed. The stadium could have been sold out twice over. Let's take one more look as they take their time on this ruling.
And this might be the best piece of evidence.
Our 37th camera, 385 feet above field level, gives you another look at it.
And you might say, well, they're going to get the ball on the 1 anyway, but based on what happened in the Eastern Final last week, it was an adventure short yardage for Scott Milanovich, and he just as soon not have to 10 feet. Stopped 3 cracks from the 1 against Montreal. In fact, 5 plays in short yardage last week without any yardage.
You can also, there's a direct relation between how close a call is and how long they take through the review process, and this one's taking a long time.
Our guys have dug up yet another angle. See if this helps the command center make a decision. Now it looks like the ball comes across the pylon, is heat down
and out of bounds.
And out of bounds before that crosses the plane.
And by the look on Dontrell Inman's face, he's not sure. He looks at the replay here in the dome. Chad Owens discussing whether or not he's in and what they would rule. And this is the one that the officials want to take another look at before they rule on this crucial play.
Did that right foot hit the white paint before the ball comes across the pylon, or are they going to rule that the ball didn't cross the plane? Glenn Johnson's got a verdict.
After review, the ruling on the field stands.
So if there's any doubt, they stick to the ruling on the field, and now the Argos will have to prove they're better short yardage than they were a week ago.
When you're in a game of this magnitude and down on the 1 yard line, it's the longest yard on the field.
And it's interesting to note right away that Ricky Ray remains in the game. This was Jarius Jackson time all season long and last week against the Alouettes. Ejiro Kuali lines up with the fullback in the eye with Kackert. It's Chad Kackert. Not going to get there. Simpson and Jackson, the linebackers, to meet him. And the Argos haven't sorted out their short yardage problems yet.
Well, Juwan Simpson, this is where you ISO in. Down in short yardage on the middle linebacker, number 12, Juwan Simpson. Scrape to the hole, step up in there. Great contact, stands Chad Kackert up and pushes him back so his teammates can rally to it. And that yard just became longer.
7th play of the drive. Jarius Jackson is in now. Takes the Kackert, swings it to Inman, walking, touchdown. Had to wait 2 plays, but Inman's got his touchdown. And the Argos expand the lead.
Jarius Jackson runs the quarterback sneak in short yardage and has all season long. So the Calgary Stampeders jam up the line of scrimmage. Little play action to Chad Kackert. Gets it out there to Dontrell Inman, and he walks in.
So with 20 seconds remaining, Waters on to add the extra point, and it's an 18-point advantage for the Argos in the late stages of this first half. 7 plays, 75 yards for the Argos' second offensive touchdown of the evening.
Jarius Jackson, former BC Lion, played his college ball at Notre Dame. Been a backup for a lot of great quarterbacks in BC, and is in behind one of the game's best in Ricky Ray here in Toronto. Drops that ball off to Dontrell Inman, and he does the rest. But the Calgary Stampeders defensively completely committing to the line of scrimmage.
And a reminder, stay tuned to TSN at halftime. We bring you the Sirius XM Grey Cup halftime show. Gordon Lightfoot, Marianas Trench, Carly Rae Jepsen, and Justin Bieber performing live. We'll also check in with our panel. What a thrill yesterday at the sound check to meet the iconic one, Gordon Lightfoot.
Well, I'll tell you what, that goes down as a highlight in my life, because Gordon Lightfoot music has been part of this great country's history for a long, long time, and I'm a big fan.
Waters will bounce it down, and Larry Taylor got to make sure he doesn't cough it up. Well, we've seen the Stampeders in the postseason make a lot happen in a very short period of time, but only 17 seconds for Kevin Glenn to put a better look on this opening half score.
Well, 2 schools of thought. I mean, John Hufnagel may want to just get out of this half where they are right now, regroup at halftime. It's an extended halftime, so he'll have time to break things down and maybe change up some offensive formation, see if they can't get John Cornish established, or maybe take a shot.
They hand it off to John Cornish, and Cornish with a good run up to the 50. Remember the late stages of the Western semifinal first half, and it was a Cornish run that put them into field goal range for what turned out to be extremely valuable points.
Well, now if he's efficient and they're on the line of scrimmage, can squeeze 2 plays out here, could get in field goal range.
21-yard run for Cornish, 11 on the clock, so one completion of about 15 to 20 yards, but they're going to stay on the ground. And Robert McCune, the former Stampeder, will ride him down at the 54, and one more play. Little battle between Adriano Belli and the center John Gott. And it was Adriano Belli yesterday, in typical fashion, came out and he planted a kiss on Gordon Lightfoot, so he's a fan too. Bo Levi Mitchell's come in, so it's Bo Levi Mitchell who's likely going to air it out. Final play. It's a low percentage, but if any team has pulled off the Hail Mary, it's Calgary. He'll set up, sling it long, up for grabs, and incomplete, almost snared there by Jabari Arthur. Well, that was close.
Very close, Chris, and I was wondering if there could be a pass interference call, but there are no flags. Looked like there might have been a little early contact.
Got the feet tangled up, and he went down, and Arthur still feeling the effects of that last play. Let's check in with our NLG and Scott Milanovich.
Scott, you've had some challenges down at the 1-yard line before. How important was it to finish that drive?
Yeah, it was very important, obviously. Gave us some momentum going into halftime.
You guys have been able to shut down John Cornish in the 2 regular season games. You've done it again here in the first half. What's been the key to slowing him down?
Well, Chris has had some good schemes out there, and our guys are playing hard and understand the importance of not letting him get rolling.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks a lot.
All right, let's head to the Stamps sideline where Sarah Orlesky has John Hufnagel.
Coach, it's the first time in 7 games that you've trailed at the half. What is it that Toronto's doing so well to stifle your offense?
Well, we're not getting very good production on first down. They're doing a good job against our run game. Their linebackers are plugging the holes fast, coming downhill. We got to get completions on first down and be able to manage the game better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Getting set for the second half of the 100th Grey Cup game. There are the numbers for the quarterbacks through 30 minutes.
The Calgary Stampeders come back in this game. It will be second greatest comeback in Grey Cup history. The greatest of the 99 games played to this point. It's back in 1981. Ottawa had a 20-0 lead on Edmonton in that game and ended up the Edmonton Eskimos won 26-23 on a Dave Cutler field goal. Calgary's got a mountain to climb.
Well, you heard John Hufnagel talk about first down production, 117 yards on first down in the opening half, but 61 on one play. Otherwise, they averaged 4 yards per play. It'll have to be better in the second half. They'll get the ball first as Swayze Waters kicks it off. Larry Taylor from his 7. And Taylor starts to run. He's been their best so far, up to the 40. 33-yard kickoff return. And let's see if Dave Dickinson can tip the scales in favor of his side in the second half.
Well, one way he may be able to do that is take a page out of the playbook from Ricky Ray and the Toronto Argonauts in this second half, and on first down, go to a little more play action, dump the ball down in space to guys like John Cornish, get him out in the open on those little check down balls to get a little more success on first down.
Cornish takes the direct snap, tries to get inside, and John Cornish with that cut up to the 48-yard line. So good first down production and a 9-yard pickup for number 9.
Really what that play was, an extended running play to get it outside, get him in some more space, so it's a one-on-one on the outside rather than try and penetrate the middle, which has been pretty good for the Argos on defense.
So second and 1. They stay on the ground. They get the first down. And Cornish stuffed at the 50 and pushed back. Ricky Foley, Marcus Ball. but a first down to open the second half for Calgary.
Throughout the playoffs in the semifinal, Kevin Glenn took advantage of a bust in the coverage in Saskatchewan in the last 20 seconds against the BC Lions in the Western Final. 2 busts by the secondary for BC turned into 14 points. This Argo defense hasn't given him that opportunity. He's having to grind this game out a little bit and move the chains. He wants to gain some momentum with a few first downs in a row here.
John Gott, the Lethbridge native, at center has been shaken up. And so Abi Khan will have to come in to take his spot.
I mean, the instincts, Chris, here would be to try and push the ball deep and make up this deficit as quickly as you possibly can. I think that Kevin Glenn's got to guard against doing that right now and just get some ball possession, get some confidence in this offense, take his shots when they're there.
Well, it's a team that didn't generate much in the way of big plays against Toronto during the regular season, but that was pre-Labor Day. But Chris Jones' defense has looked airtight so far. So there's Abi Khan. Simon Fraser University product now with the shotgun snap. Argos show pressure. Glenn over the middle, and Lewis has it jarred away. Marcus Ball on the scene. #100th Grey Cup on display in Rogers Center up in one of the end zones.
Well, this is the first year that this has happened, and I think it's a good idea to have it on display for people to see it and what these two teams are fighting for in this game tonight. Usually they bring it in with about 3 minutes left in the game.
2nd and 10. Glenn under pressure. Billy can't reach him, and Glenn's going to have to hit the dirt. A sack for the Argos back at the 46-yard line.
Again, we see the difference between putting the punt team on the field and the success they had on their first 2 downs. They get good production on first down with that toss wide to John Cornish, and then converting that becomes that much easier, and a shot to take it downfield. You're in 2nd long now. Receivers well covered downfield in that D-line rally.
Credit Ronald Clements with the sack. Surprisingly, no Argo credited with more than 2 tackles in the opening half. Rob Maver, not a great kick, but it will bounce out of bounds, and Chad Owens can't get a hand on it. What a pleasure to have the guy voted as the #1 player of all time in the Canadian Football League. Great to see you here at such a historic event.
Oh, it's been a fun day for me. We've been running around, running into old friends. I ran into the Ixapunches today. We were throwing the ball down on the field before the game and reliving those memories, and it's just been a great time.
Those are good memories.
Fantastic.
Great to see you here, Doug. Hey, I wanted to ask you, though, I've read and heard you say before, I mean, you've had a great NFL career, great career in football in general. Heard you say how much you loved your time in Canada.
No doubt about it. It put the fun back in football for me. It really did. It turned me loose. I gained my confidence again. The coaches I played for, the guys that I was with, it just freelancing, wheeling and dealing and having fun. Put it back into football for me.
One of those coaches is a guy that you and I both played for, and he's struggling a little bit right now. He's been diagnosed with cancer, and Don Matthews. Tell me a little bit about playing with Don. We're thinking about you, Don.
We are thinking about you, Don. Don, he had a knack for just taking all the pressure off you and letting you relax and go play. One of the things he said to me was, look, you're my guy. If you throw 5 interceptions, you know what? You're going to get a chance to throw 6. So that's all I needed to hear, and you turn it loose and you go play for the guy.
Well, there wasn't a lot of pressure in 96 and 97 because you guys rolled to a couple of convincing Grey Cup. I guess that, well, I shouldn't say that. 96 was an adventure. You even admitted that you might have got the break on a bad
I never
ball.
had the ball. I never had it. The thing that amazed me wasn't that they blew the whistle, but they gave us the first down, too.
Memories of that 96, game 97, a decisive victory. Pump from Ricky Ray, he's looking for Inman, and Inman can't make the play, working against Darius Brooks in extremely tight coverage. Now prior to take a look at the snow game at Iberwin. Big play after big play.
Eddie Brown off the foot. Kick it back up and pull. There were some, for the weather, for the snow, there were some just unbelievably athletic plays made in this game.
I want to ask you about the game we're watching here between Calgary and Toronto. Doug, what have you seen so far between both these teams?
Well, the Calgary defense is obviously trying to take Owens away. He's the big play guy. And, you know, you dump it off to your running back. He's caught 6 balls for 41 yards in the first half. I mean, hey, I'll take that all day. I'm not too proud to dump it off.
Yeah, Chad Cackard had a good first half and been a big pickup for this football team. He took over about a third of the way through the season for Corey Boyd. And the Calgary Stampeders, when you're quarterback in a situation that Kevin Glenn's in right now, Doug, and you've been in this situation many times, you got a big deficit to make up. Is it tough to be patient at this point?
Not for me. That was the key, I think, for me always, was 1 first down at a time, especially in the beginning of the drive. If you get a couple of first downs, you might take your shot as you cross midfield because they're going to get impatient on defense and wind up coming after you, give up a big play or a possibility for a big play. Just
Legal
try
block.
to convert.
Calgary, number 47. That penalty's declined. We have a second illegal block on Calgary 33. That'll be a 10-yard penalty from where the ball was caught and a first down.
So penalties piling up for John Hufnagel. It should be noted the Argos without a penalty in the first half. They led the league in penalties in the regular season. So it's a big hole. And you say resist the temptation of getting it all back in.
All you need is 10 yards. All you need is 10 yards, and you keep the ball, and you run 2 more plays, and every time you run a play, there's a chance a guy will break a tackle and go.
Now John Cornish hasn't been able to get on track. A short gain there. Again, this defense has stuffed him.
Doug, you're part of this new tradition that the Canadian Football League's trying to bring into the season, and that is to bring the Grey Cup to the stadium. That was cool.
It was a great experience, and as you walked and as you got closer, the crowd got bigger and bigger throughout. As you got closer to the stadium, it became a little bit of a zoo as we came right up to the entrance of the stadium, but fantastic enthusiasm by all the fans in Toronto.
I know you're working with NBC, and I know you're down in Boston, but you know we claimed you, right?
Absolutely. I don't mind that at all. I love it up here.
Second and long, and Kevin Glenn now pulls the trigger, finds a target, has a first down. Marquay McDaniel with the catch, his first of the game. Robert McCune, the middle linebacker, on the tackle, but the old Hamilton Ticat target with a key first down for Calgary.
You know, and Kevin Glenn may have to start to do a little bit of this and start to create and extend plays with his legs a little bit to move the pocket and the launch point to make it a little tougher on a Toronto defense that's played pretty solid up to this point.
18-yard pickup at the 28. Calgary first down. Kevin Glenn moves the pocket. What's the Price? Incomplete. And they have nullified Maurice Price so far in this game, coming off 4 consecutive 100-yard games. Still looking for his first catch.
Gibson must be nice. You talked about Sapunjas. You talked about some of the people you've seen. I saw you chatting with Matt Dunnigan, and you got a chance before the game to talk to this guy.
Dave Sapunjas and Dave Dickinson.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we had fun. We were all together. Dave Dickinson and I were together with the San Diego Chargers as well, but Sponge was my go-to. He was my security blanket. If I didn't like something upfield, he was running an option route, getting the ball 6 to 8 yards, and he'd do it after the catch.
Man, you look like you could still play, my friend.
I was going to say we could start some rumors here tonight. That pass over the routes, and Pacino Horn muffs his opportunity for a second interception. Bo Levi Mitchell with the pass and a penalty marker on the play.
Looked like Evan McCullough was getting a little physical with Marquay McDaniel down the field. I'm wondering if it's going to be illegal contact or pass interference.
Forward pass interference. Toronto number 26. The first down at the point of the foul.
Safety Jordan Younger called.
You know, he's jamming the slot receiver running the corner route, and the one rule as a quarterback, when you're throwing a corner route, see the corner, the outside guy playing wide. He drifted off of his defender, drifted into the pass, and could have intercepted it easily because he saw the ball thrown.
Yeah, they called Jordan Younger, but it was Evan McCullough.
Here's Cornish in space. And throws across midfield. Lost his footing, taken down by Horn at the Argo 49-yard line.
Nick Lewis making a nice block on that play to get John Cornish out of the backfield. He comes from your right of your screen, outside in. Boy, is he ever good at this. Excuse me, he was on the left side of your screen and then turns and gets that McCullough block stepping back so that he can't catch up to Cornish.
And as you mentioned, Doug, one play at a time, and they've got something going.
That's a great first down call. Little play action, moves the pocket a little bit, easy little dump pass, and picks up good yardage. Safe.
3 first downs in the drive, the pitch to Cornish, and he's got some running room, and then gets collared, and the flag comes down, and that'll be a face mask on Robert McCune.
That's what you're talking about. You never know. You can get your receiver, your running back to break a tackle in the open field, turn into a big gain. Maybe you pick up a penalty like this, and next thing you know, you're in scoring distance.
Keep getting first downs. That goal line will bump you in the face.
So after the penalty drought in the first half,
major foul, unnecessary roughness, Toronto number 45. We have 15-yard penalty till the end of the play. First down.
Nickname is the Hammer. See Robert McCune step up on this one, and where he draws the flag. Right there, catches the corner of the face mask of John Cornish.
yards after the penalty. First down inside the 30. Full Levi Mitchell back at the controls. Swings into McDaniel and a sure tackle by Evan McCullough.
Of course, you know, I would say as a former defensive player, Doug, that I want you to be patient. I want you to put together 14, 15 drives. Although playing against you, I knew how many times that happened. But, you know, that's for Chris Jones. That's kind of what he wants to do. Hoping or expecting the offense to make a mistake at some point.
Yeah, I thought that was a good first down call there, throwing the hit screen, but a great defensive play, shut him down, second and long. So you're right. Eventually, you're going to come up with that stop play.
Well, back in 2nd and 8. Off the edge, pressure over the middle. Nick Lewis hangs on at the 20, and it will be decision time now.
Right there was the perfect opportunity. We said they'd get impatient on defense. Finally, they did. They came with an all-out blitz. It was man-to-man coverage all over the field. Zero coverage, no safety in the middle. There was your opportunity maybe to hit the home run.
And Jabari Arthur was open down that middle of the field, but Kevin Glenn couldn't find it. And it looked like he had longer than he may have thought he had, because 81 was open deep down the middle, right around the goal line.
Doug, really great to see you, especially at this occasion, Grey Cup 100. One of the dominant players in the history of this great game. As Rennie Paredes puts it through, our thanks to Doug Flutie.
Thank you, guys. It was a blast.
So Calgary does not gamble 3rd and 2. They take the points. Trailed by 15. Does that in any way raise an eyebrow with you?
No, not. I think it's still early enough that, and John Hufnagel is experienced enough that he knows that there's a lot of football to yet be played, and he finally got some momentum from his offense. They got a few first downs. They moved the ball better than they have all game on that last series.
Paredes with the boot. Chad Owens on the return. Kicks it inside. Over the 50, and Paredes will knock him out. Great field position for the Argos.
Take a look at the numbers for Ricky Ray so far. He came into this Grey Cup with the best completion percentage of any quarterback in Grey Cup history, that had at least 40 attempts. Great success in the first half, getting the football to number 44, Chad Cackert.
Great field position to start after the 43-yard return by Owens. Long out, there's Cackert pulling it down across midfield and getting some extra yardage, close to a first down for Chad Cackert.
Yeah, you know, it's great to see Doug Flutie and have him here with us in the booth. And when he first walked in at halftime, I said, you know, what are you seeing from Toronto? He said, I'm seeing a perfectly run offense. Take that dump down throw to Chad Cackert like we saw on that first down and get yourself in manageable situations. The quarterback knows, like he said, you don't have to be too proud to just dump it down and let your guys do the work for you.
Doug working with NBC, riding that Notre Dame wave, and would like to say hello to the NBC Sports Network fans watching Chad Cackert chewed up down to the 26-yard line. Eric Fraser, the safety, with the tackle, but it's been a big night for Chad Cackard.
What a hole for Chad Cackard. He not only gets to the second level, but he gets beyond that into the secondary in a heartbeat. Down blocks from Chris Van Zyl, and look at that hole open up for Chad Cackard. Untouched till he gets to the safety.
2 plays, 2 first downs after the Owens kick return. First down, quick hitter into the hands of Dury, who gets away. And it's 3 first downs on 3 plays as Andre Dury steps out.
Andre Dury had some injury issues throughout the season, but had a couple of games where he was over 100 yards receiving. One of them was against the Calgary Stampeders. Does a nice job in the open field here. Make a couple of guys miss, pick up a few extra yards.
Argos were the worst team in the red zone this year at 46.2%. They were 2 for 9. Danny Webb on the sidelines. 2 for 9 against Calgary in the regular season. 2 for 3 in the game, but that one closed down in a hurry. There's Juwan Simpson.
Hello, Juwan Simpson. Here's a middle linebacker who started 32 of the 46 games at Alabama. And if you're starting at Alabama, you're a football player. Watch him step up in that hole unblocked. And Chad Cackard had nowhere to go.
Simpson won a Grey Cup in Montreal 2008 in his rookie year. One of 8 Stampeders returning to try to win another one. Second and bunch. And they'll screen it to Cackard. It's a block. Gets outside. And he'll be pushed out just short of the first down. Mark Parento with a block, but he's been shaken up.
Blitz coming off the edge there, Chris, from Keon Raymond, and Ricky Ray retreats long enough to get Chad Cackard out there, and Mark Parento in a lot of discomfort there. Watch how the blitz is going to come from this direction. There's 25. Ricky Ray retreats, gives himself a split second to get it out there, and it looked like Mark Parento just fell on his shoulder. He grabbed that shoulder immediately.
Argos right guard, who came into the game as the only player in this game with a Grey Cup touchdown catch. Remember the catch in 2010?
Yes.
On a short yardage play, 1 yard, but Parento shaken up and will step out. Welcome back to Rogers Center. Prime Minister Stephen Harper, wife Loreen, interested observers. Former Argo fan, now cheering for the Stampeders.
He was a little torn because he said as a kid, cried in that 71 game, and Argos losing that game on the fumble, the famous fumble, and now pulling for Calgary in this one.
I took a few games in the 60s pretty hard too. Swayze Waters on to attempt this short field goal and some early movement. He was reflecting back on the 71 game, the Leon McQuay unforgettable fumble.
Procedure, Toronto, number 64. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
That's Andrew Jones moving. And Joe Theismann was here this week, but he had to leave. He's in Vancouver, strangely enough, the site of that 71 game. And Joe Theismann might have shed a tear or two after that Calgary win in 71. But that's what the Grey Cup's all about, those great memories. You say 71 Grey Cup, you think of Leon McQuay. You say 91 Grey Cup, you think Rocket Ishmael, or the legend of Matt Dunnigan from the ballroom with a broken collarbone to the field for a brilliant Grey Cup winning performance. From 20 yards out, Harris had trouble but got it down. Well, the rookie quarterback just got the pin in for Swayze Waters to add to the lead. And of course, His Excellency, the Governor General, kicking things off. Literally the ceremonial kickoff. Something we're told he practiced, and you could tell for a minute there he was lining up like it was kick for a million.
Great concentration and focus. Well, the entire country has really embraced this Grey Cup, and the 100th Grey Cup game, whether it be the loonie, the coin with the Grey Cups on it, the commemorative stamps collection that was put out by Canada Post. They tell us, and it's true, that the demand for tickets for this Grey Cup, that the Argos could have sold this entire dome out twice. Jam-packed, and I have to tell you, Chris, for me, because it brings back great memories of course, one of four. This is the fourth Grey Cup played here in Toronto in the Dome. And when that crowd started singing "Oh Canada," jam-packed inside under the roof here, it was, I tell you what, it was hard not to get emotional.
Under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. And here's Larry Taylor. And Taylor gets away. Cuts back, pass, Waters. Nobody's going to catch him. Larry Taylor, 105-yard touchdown. Well, wait a minute. There's a flag at midfield. So a big chunk of that is going to be negated. It was just what the Stampeders needed, but it's coming back.
Chris, Larry Taylor's been Calgary's best player. On either side of the ball or special teams, it's been Larry Taylor that's been consistent all game.
Holding. Calgary number 25. Wow. A 10-yard penalty from where the ball was. First down.
Keon Raymond, one of the vets.
Keon Raymond is right at the point of attack. You see Larry Taylor right behind him, and Raymond going after Black and grabs the outside of the shoulder pad and pulls him towards him, and that's enough to draw the penalty and take a touchdown off the board. Remember, in game one, Larry Taylor, between these two teams this year, had over 400 yards all-purpose.
All the way back to the Calgary 35 after the penalty. Last possession, 9 plays, 81 yards. And flags are flying here as Cornish tries to get outside and is dragged down by Ronald Flemons. And flags in different areas of the field here to sort out after what was a very low penalty first half.
Couple of breaks here for the Toronto Argonauts, Chris. One on the field goal, the first field goal attempt going back that far, hit the goalpost and didn't go through, but there was a procedure call and no play, so the Argos got another shot at it and made it. And then the penalty, taking the Larry Taylor touchdown off the board from Keon Raymond.
John Gott was shaken up again. The center wants a word with one of the officials for a call that may not have been made, but got to the sidelines, and Avi Khan will have to check back in. And Larry Taylor also heads back into the offensive huddle for Calgary.
By the way, the biggest comeback for John Hufnagel's Calgary Stampeders throughout the regular season was a game against Saskatchewan. They were down 17 points and came back and won.
We have too many players, offense, on Calgary. We have a rough play, disqualification on Toronto, number 78. He net 15 yards up, an automatic first down.
So Adriano Belli is done. Disqualified. Belli, who joined the team late in the season, is not going to be able to finish. Guy who missed most of the week because of the flu. Not his first disqualification.
No. And most importantly for Stamps fans, gives him a first down, good field position, and a chance to try and climb back in this football game.
So we'll see what transpired to lead to Belli's Ejection. Right now, Calgary first down at their 50. They empty it out. Quick hitter, Lewis in midfield, and quickly taken down. Robert McCune.
There's Adriano Belli right here. And he's working that offensive line. Looks like he just, as he's twisting down, throws John Gott. As close as we could find. Maybe he might have had his arm in an armbar of some kind.
I was thinking about the Khalid Mitchell play that led to a suspension against the BC defensive tackle early in the year. Glenn stands in, and that one nearly picked Devin McCullough in and out of his hands. And so the Calgary drive stalls at midfield.
Crossing route here. Kevin Glenn has lots of time to throw, but he doesn't have a deep route in this play. All intermediate curl routes, but watch his feet. Hopping, not really settled in the pocket. Hopping. He's got lots of time. Dave Dickinson said before the game that he was wondering about whether or not Kevin Glenn might be a little jittery in his first Grey Cup. He's just not settling in that pocket. Had lots of time to stand in there.
Maver will try and pin the Argos deep. Launches this one, and it's a beauty. Owens can't stay in bounds, and his momentum takes him out at the 2. It could not have been a better boot by Rob Maver, 52 yards into the corner.
You've heard coaches many times say when you're on the 20 going in or inside the 20, it's the red zone or the score zone. When you're inside your own 20, it's the win zone. And the importance of a first down or 2 coming out of your own zone like this, crucial for the Argos here, or else Maver just gave the Calgary Stampeders a bunch of momentum heading into the 4th.
And for Rick Campbell's defense, now's the time.
Absolutely. They got to get this 2 and out. Force Scott Milanovic into having to make the decision as to not to either give up the safety and the 2 points or try and punt it out and give Calgary excellent field position.
So Ricky Ray from his end zone, looking for Maurice Mann, and that's a money throw, and they're saying he did not have control of it. Looked like Mann made the catch, but either lost it on the sidelines or didn't get the foot down.
First of all, the placement of the ball from Ricky Ray, just absolutely incredible. But let's take a look if Maurice Mann does maintain possession here and whether or not he's out of bounds. Looks like he got, no, he doesn't. He didn't get his foot down, knee on the white stripe, and away you go. Good call by the official. Big down here.
Well, that almost looked like he may have got a sliding foot in. Go to the sidelines again, and Mann stretches out, and they're going to rule that incomplete.
You know, we had another look, and we should go back and take one more look at that Maurice Mann on the corner on first down, because it looked pretty clear that his knee was on the white stripe, but did he get that toe in?
Looked like he may have dragged the toe on the initial play. Instead, it's the second 2 and out of the game for the Argos. And now does Scott Milanovic give up the safety, or does he turn Prefontaine loose?
Well, that deep, I think you got to give up 2. Yeah.
And he will, with Larry Taylor waiting at the 45. Get back in pursuit to Prefontaine, and it is 2 on the board for the Stampeders. And now 27-11. So the safety conceded.
Here's to the everyday things that end up being everything. Here's to all things simple, with casual clothing and footwear from Marks.
Third quarter stats are brought to you by Intact Insurance. Your home, your auto, your business. Intact Insurance. you're back.
Well, one thing we know about the Canadian Football League, when you look at the numbers that are starting to get closer, it was pretty much the Argos in the first quarter and in the second. Calgary starting to climb back in the third. And one thing we know about CFL football, Chris, is that no lead is safe and no lead is comfortable. And it looks like right now, to me, the Calgary Stampeders are starting to chip away here. Got a little momentum. Toronto had to give up that safety.
Well, you heard from Doug Flutie talking about patience. Still 16 points, but you know now they can't settle for field goals. They need touchdowns.
Yeah, they're going to have to start to look at the clock, maybe even get into some hurry-up offense and try and get Kevin Glenn into a bit of a rhythm. And for the Toronto Argonauts, they can't take their foot off the pedal at this point. There's lots of time to play in this game. You know, in the last 3 minutes, in the Canadian Football League, we could see 2 or 3 scores. So lots of football to be played.
Calgary may have got a break on that last series. We're going to take another look when it appeared that Maurice Mann got a foot down. There's the toe on the green. So that was a catch taken away, and the end result is safety and right back to Calgary. On the ensuing kickoff, Larry Taylor at the 40, and Kevin Glenn's got a chance to develop some Calgary momentum here early in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he does, and the change for them in this second half has been to not try and pound Cornish in the middle, but get Cornish out on the edges and have a little more success on first down. Be patient, as we've talked about, and then they'll wait to take their chances. As this clock runs down, they're going to have to push the ball more.
Eric Kevin Glenn's numbers, only 15 completions last week, but some big plays against the Lions. They start with John Cornish, and that's been the story of the day. That Argo defense continues to shut them down for the most part.
All Robert McEwen in the middle there.
Cornish's best run, 21 yards in the dying seconds of the first half, but most of his carries have looked like this today.
2 playoff games for Robert McEwen, getting really his first chance to start. A new linebacker in the defense here in Toronto. 13 tackles in 2 games.
And he started in Calgary camp with Jawan Simpson and Joe Lopendon. They all ended up starters this year in the CFL. Here's Glenn. He's got an open man, and Marquay McDaniel falls down on the play. And looks back at the quarterback as if he wanted that ball a lot earlier.
Well, Marquay McDaniel tried to turn around. He wanted it earlier and out in front of him so he could run underneath it. But I never recommend for a receiver to ever turn around and be that animated and basically call out his quarterback.
So the 5th 2-and-out of the night. Here again, Rob Maber booting it to Chad Owens. From his 23, running it outside. Puwali leading the way. And slowed up as he crossed the 35-yard line. Early fourth quarter, let's check back in with Paul LaPolice and the coach's playbook.
The key to this game is an early interception in the game that was returned back for a touchdown. Pacino Horn did a great job, and it allowed Toronto to really blow this game open. Take a look here. This is a staple play that Calgary runs. They bring the guy out in the flat, try to widen people. They've got a guy on a clear route to the field. They're trying to get it here to Nick Lewis. As Nick pushes out, I think Kevin just throws a poor ball here, but the best part of this is Pacino Horn must have been watching his film, because he slow plays and lets that vertical guy go past him, and he's in the right position to make a play on the ball. He gets up. As we flip this angle here, he gets up and runs it right in for the touchdown, and again blows the game open early in the first.
Now the Argos trying to put it away. Chad Cathcart off the right side and up to the 44-yard line.
In the workhorse for this Argo offense, rushing 12 for 78. Before that 6-yard run, so he's over 80 now. And through the air, he's got 8 for 62, so over 100 yards of production for Chad Cathcart. The one guy that Ricky Ray has not been able to get the football to offensively has been the MOP from 2012.
I'm guessing
Chad
that's
Owens.
the family from Southern California. He
Yes,
said
sir.
that if he dressed up somehow, he might even dress up as Jason of the Argonauts. That ball batted down. A big knockdown by Anwar Stewart, who seems to have an annual invitation. And there are the Cackert family celebrating.
Ricky Ray has gone to Chad Cackert in a bunch of different ways, whether it be in that short passing game, high percentage throws. He's coming across the middle out of the backfield. They pounded him in the middle. They got him outside on the edge. Over 100 yards of offense for Chad Cackert.
You know, the decision to release Corey Boyd was so controversial. There were season ticket holders who wrote letters to President Chris Rudge upset, and the last thing the Argos want to do is upset the season ticket holders they do have, but that decision, as gutsy as it looked at the time, has been spot on.
Yeah, you know what? It was a gutsy call by Scott Milenovich, but what he knew coming out of camp is what Chad Cacker's teammates knew as well, especially their offensive line, is that Chad Cacker fit this offense better than Corey Boyd did. And it takes nothing away from Corey Boyd. He's a great football player for this organization for a couple years, a 1,000-yard rusher, but he was the focal point. And Scott Milenovich said this year the focal point of our offense will be Ricky Ray.
Argos have won 4 consecutive games to get in here. They've won 4 consecutive Grey Cup appearances. With the lead here in the fourth quarter, Larry Taylor trying to flip the field, and away he goes again. Up to the 43-yard line, 17 yards on the return. Let's get the mood on the sidelines. Here's Sarah Orlesky.
Well, understandably, there's a lot of frustration down here on the Calgary sideline, Chris, in particularly with this offense. Marquay McDaniel, when he came off the field, Kevin Glenn tried to go over and speak to him. Marquay just turned and walked away. Maurice Price spent that entire last possession on the sidelines, fuming, going up and down, yelling at anyone that would listen to him. There was a lot of frustration, a lot of shrugs, rolling of the eyes, and guys just shaking their heads in disbelief at how much they have been struggling so far this game. With more now, let's go to Farhan.
Well, Sarah, the Argos are very much in the moment. There has been no discussion about how close they are to finally tasting from the Grey Cup. They're completely focused on the task at hand. Also, it's pretty clear the Argos D-line believes they have got a run-pass key for the Stamps figured out. Look for Ricky Foley or Kevin Huntley to signal to the linebackers so they can react accordingly.
For the Stampeders, this is foreign territory. Only once this year they've really been out of a football game from start to finish. A convincing BC Lion win early in the season. Nick Lewis stretching out for a first down, but in every other game, they either won or John Hufnagel felt like they had a shot at winning.
And during that break, they got in that huddle, and Kevin Glenn and John Cornish were talking about it's 16 points, man, it's 16 points. It's lots of time to play, and Kevin Glenn has come up off the mat many, many times.
Still a 2-possession game, ball near midfield, tied for Glenn. That ball is tipped at the line. Something the Argos have been effective with this season.
And effective on defense in this game, Chris, when they win on first down. And so now they've got Kevin Glenn in 2nd and long. Jiro Kuali is having the game of his career so far, and guess who gets his hands on this throw from Kevin Glenn? Number 5 from LSU, Jiro Kuali.
Second and 10. 3 receivers to that far side. They're looking that way deep, and Maurice Price draws a flag. Step for step was Ahmad Carroll. The flags fly, and it's a big gain for Calgary by a penalty.
You know, Ahmad Carroll had some issues with pass interference early in the season. In fact, Scott Milenovich sat him down for a couple of games and experimented with other personnel at his position.
Pass interference, Toronto, number 8. It'll be first down at the point of the foul.
Brought him back in, and since he's been inserted back in the lineup, which is about a month ago, He's played very well and avoided the penalty. This is a close one. When I saw it live, it looked like just some hand fighting down the field. And when I look at it in replay, it verifies that.
Now Kevin Glenn takes a shot in the end zone, and it's too long for Nick Lewis. Fourth time that Calgary's got a first down by penalty out of the 13 in the game.
Ahmad Carroll is still talking to the officials because he just doesn't believe he was called on that. And I think he has an argument here, Chris. I mean, take a look. As they go down the field, you're allowed to hand fight there. So that should be okay as long as he doesn't hold it down for too long. He doesn't. He allows Maurice Price to lift it up again. That's been let go all season long.
2nd and 10. Calgary 5 for 16 in second down conversions on the night. Glenn underneath. Catch made, but McDaniel stumbling. And it's short yardage. And now do you leave the offense out, or do you take 3 with still over 10 minutes to go?
I think you take your points. You know, you've got some momentum. You take your points. You got to drive together. Penalty aided drive. But John Hufnagel knows there's lots of time. And Marquay McDaniel, who, as Sarah mentioned on the sideline, didn't even want to talk to Kevin Glenn, is having problems getting his legs underneath him. It's the second time he's stumbled on his own.
Now you see the remarkable consistency of Rene Paredes. 26 consecutive field goal, and it gets a little tighter. That's a 13-point lead for the Argonauts. 9:46 remaining.
Just 4 first downs in the second half so far for the Toronto Argonauts. I guess my question to 8 for Calgary for Scott Milanovich would be, is he getting conservative in this second half with the lead? Just 71 yards of offense in the second half. Ricky Ray, some numbers on the board in the first.
Talks about managing the game, being conservative when he has the opportunity. He did that second half after the 31-point explosion in the Eastern Semi. Here's Packard, and he gets brought down. Good tackle on the play by Brandon Smith.
In the meantime, give full credit to this Calgary defense. I mean, they're hanging around. They're hanging in there. In the second half, they've stepped up, put Ray in some difficult positions. Rick Campbell, I think he's getting the best out of his secondary that I've seen all year, and that's a young group. 3 of the 5 in their first year in the CFL, basically.
Ricky Ray trying to avoid a 3rd consecutive 2-and-out. Here comes Jonathan Hughes. And the throw hurried at the Argo bench, incomplete. So Calgary has forced them into a 3rd consecutive 2-and-out. And now the Stampeders need a big return play or an offensive touchdown on this next drive.
Or maybe when they get the ball back, the Toronto Argonauts can go back and try and find some plays for Chad Owens and see if the most outstanding player in 2012 can start to create himself. A couple of those maybe hit screens on first down could help this Toronto offense. You can see he's getting a little frustrated not seeing the ball much.
Hasn't been the Owens-Cornish showdown we anticipated. On a bounce and out, so Taylor can't get his hands on that. Good boot by Prefontaine.
Better second half for Kevin Glenn, although he hasn't seemed as comfortable, nearly as comfortable in this game as he did in the West Final or the West Semifinal against Saskatchewan, but his numbers are starting to accumulate.
Calgary, number 26, while the ball is in the air, will go back 10 yards from where it was caught. First down.
It's another costly special teams penalty, Rob Cote this time.
Now keep in mind that on that last Calgary series, it was aided by that pass interference down the field. Ahmad Carroll on Maurice Price.
So with the penalty and the Prefontaine boot, 53 yards. And the Stampeders start inside their 20. Glenn running out of time underneath. And a big collision there. Nick Lewis absorbs the hit.
Boy, Chris Jones throwing in some more wrinkles at the most important time and juncture of this football game. I want to show you here Ricky Foley. Watch, the defensive end doesn't blitz on this player, go after the quarterback. He peels off on Larry Taylor, make sure he's covered down, and you got big Kevin Huntley out there covering Nick Lewis in the flat. Just a change up from Chris Jones.
Lewis hits the 100-yard receiving mark. Second time in Grey Cup play for him, and Cornish on second down, and it's not opening up.
That's a big, big series. And it's almost in that zone. Not quite yet, I don't think, for John Hufnagel to think about 3-down football, but we're getting there.
Well, this has been Chris Jones' night so far, hasn't it?
You know what? Those last two defenses were just a great example of what he does so well. So many moving parts. And he has a defensive end cover Larry Taylor. Change things up, get him in second and long. They don't convert the Calgary Stampeders, and the Argos are going to get the ball back in pretty good field position here.
Argos were fined $5,000 for tampering when they signed Chris Jones without permission to talk to him. They turned out to be the best $5,000 they spent this year. Here's Owens. Flag, and it'll be a 15-yard no yards and maybe more as Darius Brooks tosses him out, and Calgary losing its composure. So if both are as they look, this will be some big yardage for the Argos into Calgary territory.
Early in the season, discipline was an issue for John Hufnagel Stamps.
With no yards, Calgary, number 24, it's a 15-yard penalty. We have a major foul, unnecessary roughness, horse collar, Calgary, number 32, it's another 15-yard penalty. Wow. About 30 yards, first down.
30 yards of real estate. 15 unnecessary. No yards is hard to avoid. This is easy to avoid. He's out of bounds, let up. Get your defense on the field. Darius Brooks with a poor decision.
Best field position start of the day for the Argos, and here you see it, 10 penalties, 95 yards for Calgary on the night. Cacker's going to try and pat it down. He gets outside. Down to the 15 and pushed down to Markham at the 11-yard line. Chad Cacker over 100 yards rushing.
Boy, we're in the 100th Grey Cup. Talk about some of the great running backs in this league's history. Guys like George Reed, Mike Pringle, and I'll tell you what, if Chad Cacker can put together 5, 7, maybe an 8, 9-year career, we'll be talking about him 10 years from now as one of the greats. He's got that speed, the toughness in the middle, great quickness and vision. He's been their workhorse.
In a position to take a stranglehold. Cacker, good collision there as he pounds to the 7. We showed you that the Grey Cup was on display in one of the end zones, now being transferred down to field level. I mentioned this before in another Grey Cup, but remember veteran Ryan Thelwell telling us about seeing the cup being brought down by the Mounties and how that's the next burst of adrenaline on the sideline.
I'll tell you what, I'm getting one right here in the booth, Chris. You think about some of the names on...
Not that one.
Not that one. But some of the names on that Grey Cup. Some of the great football players in this game's history.
Second down, they swing it out. There's Andre Dury, and the Toronto guy into the end zone, touchdown. Well, the local kid, a Grey Cup hero now, Andre Dury with a back-breaking touchdown.
8th Grey Cup touchdown pass for Ricky Ray. And he gives it to Andre Dury, who, as we mentioned at the start of the show, grew up admiring Pinball Clemens, Rocket Ismail. He's living his dream right now.
Waters adds the extra point. Big block by Mo Mann on the touchdown. A couple of those short passes in the score zone. Inman with one, and now Andre Dury, a Grey Cup touchdown.
Well, the sequence of events that have led to this Andre Dury touchdown are interesting with regards to this Toronto football team all year. Chris Jones' defense gets a 2-0. The return game creates a couple of penalties, one on a bad decision by Calgary. 30 yards on penalties in the return. Puts Ricky Ray in great field position. Chad Cackard, who's been the workhorse all game long, gets him in the red zone, and Andre Dury finishes the drive. By the way, that's, as I mentioned, Ricky Ray's 8th touchdown pass.
That's getting him into rarefied air, isn't it?
Yes, it is, in Grey Cups. Again, 2-1 in Grey Cups, and he's now 1 from tying Anthony Calvillo on the all-time list.
A guy discarded despite having 2 Grey Cup rings in his resume. And although Eric Tillman takes all the heat for the most controversial trade in CFL history, there were more people in Edmonton that weren't sure Ricky Ray could still get it done. And he's proving them all wrong here tonight.
And when you look at him and his demeanor on the sideline, it has not changed from the moment that he has come out on the football field to start this game. And that's what he has brought, that stability. I mean, it's a quarterback-driven league. We've been saying that for years. Ricky Ray has lots of years left in him. And the future of the Toronto Argonauts looks great, not only for this year, but also the future in the next 4 or 5.
13 touchdown passes in his last 5 games, and that skipped short of the intended target. Incomplete for Calgary. 18 for 30, 231. Not as brilliant number-wise as he's put up in the last couple of months, but more than enough, it would appear, to get the job done in the biggest game he may ever play. Glenn under pressure, and they get him. The Argo defense, which is just as big a story on this day, gets to Kevin Glenn once again.
And it's that time. Kevin Glenn's got to go on 3rd down, and Chris Jones now looking at play to turn the football over in Calgary's territory if he can get one more stop in this series. Ricky Foley gets his hand and turns Kevin Glenn around so he can't escape, grabs that jersey. Again, another local guy, grew up here.
Another York guy.
Absolutely.
Just like Andre Dury. So 3rd and 15, Kevin Glenn got a ball loose side balance underneath, complete. Robbie Bryant's going to be short. He's got the catch, but it's a turnover on downs with 3.5 remaining.
Well, these Calgary Stampeders from Marquay McDaniel, they haven't been able to get the ball deep to Robbie Bryant. And I want to show you again, watch Chris Jones. That's Kevin Huntley in the middle of the defense. That's an interior defensive tackle dropping and helping out on a crossing route on Nick Lewis. Taking away one of the more dangerous threats for the Calgary Stampeders all season long. And a different look from Chris Jones. And Robbie Bryant can't get the first down on his own.
Should be the final play before the 3-minute warning. As Ricky Ray will work the clock and work Chad Cackard. So under 3 minutes left with the Argos in control. There are the postseason numbers for Ricky Ray. 254 away from a Grey Cup title, which would be his 3rd.
A completion percentage off the charts. Ricky Ray didn't rack up yards tonight because of his arm on the deep ball. One of the best deep ball throwers in all CFL history. He did it with his composure and patience tonight.
Host team has not won in Toronto since 1952, trying to end a 60-year drought. Cackard, and he springs ahead and gets tossed down by the safety Eric Fraser, and that's going to be enough for a first down.
It wasn't the deep ball for Ricky Ray tonight. Calgary Stampeders took away Ricky Ray's MOP in Chad Owens. He had a quiet night offensively. That's okay for Ricky Ray. He's been there. He's done that. Take away my MOP. I'm going to look elsewhere. He looked at Chad Cackard. He did the heavy lifting in this one.
Najiro Kowali in the backfield now. Two back, second man through is Cackard. And he gets nailed at the line of scrimmage. Grey Cup record for completions in 2005. 2nd and 9. Cackard will get stuffed this time.
You think about the future of this franchise. Scott Milanovich, before the playoffs began, got a contract extension from the organization. He has brought that offense from Mark Trestman's system that they put together in Montreal with a very similar style quarterback in Anthony Calvillo. And you think of that combination, Scott Milanovich and that offense.
Timeout, Calgary.
And how long Anthony Calvillo has played in Montreal and had so much success at a high level. The future looks bright in Toronto with Ricky Ray at the helm in that offense, that system with Milanovich.
But the rebuild did it right. They found a guy who was a great offensive mind in this game. They got a quarterback, which was obviously a huge piece of the puzzle. They're developing a couple of young guys as well. They got Chris Jones, as good a defensive mind as there is, and he retooled the New Blue defense, and it's all come together probably ahead of anybody's schedule. And then there's the old guy, Noel Prefontaine, and he sends this one into the end zone. And Larry Taylor going to have to take a knee. 90 seconds left, and it's now 3-touchdown lead. Our game story brought to you by Mr. Luke. Get talked about maintenance. Take good care.
Well, Chad Cackard flew under the radar for most of the season, and they'll know him now. 194 yards in the biggest game of the year, and maybe the biggest Grey Cup game in this game's history. Ricky Ray's got a lot of football left in him. He is far from on the tail end of his career.
Under 90 seconds left, and Bo Levi Mitchell, the rookie who has a bright future, in to finish it off, and he guns it over the middle, and Marco McDaniel's got it in midfield. Big collision there as McDaniel's dropped at the 47. .100 Grey Cups. These are Grey Cup wins by city, which includes the U of T and Balmy Beach in the case of Toronto. Looking for number 23. Bo Levi Mitchell still with the ball, and he hits the deck. With Brandon Isaac, a former Stampeder, bearing down on him.
You know, Kevin Glenn just did not settle in from the very beginning throughout this entire football game. We showed you a couple times where he was jumping and hopping in the pocket, just did not look comfortable. And when the Argo defense shut down John Cornish and forced him into second and long, he just could not execute that offense at the high level he got through the playoffs.
2nd and 11, and a short hot pass incomplete. Looking for McDaniel. Bo Levi Mitchell, one of those quarterbacks people talk about as perhaps you could build a franchise around in Ottawa. He will be one that they will be evaluating.
Well, and for Ricky Ray and the Toronto Argonauts, This is an organization now with Ray at the helm. Over the next 3, 4, maybe 5 years, they can build and grow quarterbacks behind him. They can start to build their own quarterbacks. Young guys come in, learn from Ricky Ray, and be the next one.
That's Nick Volpe, who played for the Argos in the Mud Bowl, has been with them for most of the last 60 years. Evan McCullough a tackle as Jabari Arthur has a catch, and the celebration not quite ready to take place.
It's interesting that when Scott Milanovich's Argos won the Eastern Final in Montreal, he was a little upset about the Gatorade bucket. Said, we haven't won anything yet. We've got one more game to go. He's holding them off until this one is in the books completely.
Early movement by the Stampeders. There was an image this week when he was at the coach's press conference with John Hufnagel talking about watching film with his dad, a high school coach, 16mm film on a bedsheet screen, and here he is today on the sidelines getting ready to win his first Grey Cup as a head coach. Twice a Cup winner as an assistant, although he was beaten by John Hufnagel in 2008.
Well, on that, Chris, let's get this call.
Procedure, Calgary number 64. The penalties declined. We'll run the clock.
On that subject, Chris, Scott Milanovich, consider the last 20 years, been 5 first-year head coaches to get to a Grey Cup. John Hufnagel and Mark Trestman in 2008.
Timer.
Kent
Please
Austin.
put 47 seconds on the game clock. 47.
Since it's been a brilliant year, we've had so much to celebrate. The 100th Grey Cup Festival has been outstanding, and maybe not the drama everybody had hoped for.
No.
Here tonight in the finale.
Not the close game we thought. It was Austin in 07, Danny Machocha in 05. Scott Milanovich is the pick.
They reset the clock, and the partisan Argo crowd on their feet. And disrupting with the noise again. Got a ball on the field, so they had to halt things.
Timer. Please put the clock back to 47 seconds. 47.
I think maybe, Chris, the key to the Argos' victory here tonight was a play made back in December.
Mitchell, Robbie Bryant can't make the catch, and Joel Carter unloads on him.
Now down on that Argos sideline, Scott Milanovich. The entire roster get a chance to soak it in a little bit.
Yeah, the emotion you just saw, I think, is starting to settle in on a head coach who doesn't show it very often.
Yeah, and at this point, you start thinking about your high school coach, your family, all the people that sacrificed to get you where you are.
2nd and 10 underneath. It's Matt Walter, the former Calgary Rhino, on the losing end of a couple of Vanier Cups, and was hoping to change his luck in this game. And give credit to Jim Barker, moved upstairs, put this together, hired Scott Milanovich, and was responsible for the trade.
170 million houses. Get some TV time.
Underneath, Mulprice, and he'll dive into the end zone. Touchdown. First catch of the game for Maurice Price, a guy many thought could be a difference maker today.
Well, he had 4 straight games to finish the season, including those 2 playoff games, over 100 yards. But, you know, in talking to the Toronto defense all week long, he wasn't a surprise any longer. They knew about number 17 and did a good job on him. Again, though, I think the key was shutting down John Cornish early defensively, and Kevin Glenn never just really settling in, take advantage of the ball down the field.
You know, that defense didn't allow an Anthony Calvillo touchdown pass last week, and well, they shut out Kevin Glenn in this game. Foley by Mitchell gets one in garbage time. But Chris Jones' defense has got the job done. 1 for 2. Looking again for Price, and he's got it. So 20 seconds left. 13-point lead.
And like we mentioned off the top, look at all the local football players that grew up here in the greater Toronto area, getting a chance to play at home in front of the home fans. And folks, there are a lot of people in this community that absolutely love the Canadian Football League, contrary to some of the reports that we've heard over the last few years. The festival was unbelievable, jam-packed downtown Toronto all week long, and this dome was rocking.
So the short kick team gets set for Calgary. And Mike O'Shea will get his troops ready. Mike Bradwell had to field one last week to clinch it. And there's a guy that could be a head coach in the not too distant future.
There's a couple on that sideline, Chris Jones being one of them. Michael O'Shea, who's actually interviewed for some jobs already. Hey, there's work to be done here in Toronto, there's no question, but from what I saw through Grey Cup week, they're building a nice base.
Two kickers out there. Paredes goes to the far side, jump ball, and there's Bradwell to come down with it for the Argos. That will cue the Gatorade. And Chris Jones is the recipient this time.
And that's a signal from Scott Milanovich for victory formation.
Victory formation, 17 seconds left. And you wonder if we've seen the last Gatorade. Well, there'll be one more knee. And then the celebration will be on.
9-9 through the regular season, the Argos. They beat Calgary twice in the regular season. Scott Milanovich was quick to remind everyone that that didn't mean anything in this game.
The franchise with the most Canadian football titles. And there is Milanovich. The Toronto Argonauts have won the historic 100th. Described as the perfect storm this week with so much going the right way, and if you're in the host city, it's the perfect finish.
Scott Milanovich during the week was asked what it would mean to him to get his name on the Grey Cup, and he said what it would mean would be so important for me is to get our players' names on the Grey Cup. This is about our players.
Scott with his wife, 3 daughters, and Farhan Lalji is on the field with the winning quarterback.
Ricky, you talked about an up and down 6 years, and you joked that you want to retire after every season. What does this feel like after all of that?
Oh, man, this is unbelievable. Just the teammates, coaches, everybody just put so much work in this year, and for us to get hot at the end of the year and be able to make this run, you know, in the 100th Grey Cup in front of our home fans is just an awesome feeling.
For you personally, you know, there was so much criticism about the trade, but I know you personally were upset at what happened. I mean, how much of a motivator was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was just an opportunity for me. There's nothing I could do about it. I was coming here to play for, you know, Scott Milanovic. I was excited about that. And, you know, Grey Cup was here, so it's just great to be a part of this team and be one piece of the puzzle.
Talk to me a bit about your performance, not just in this game, but in these playoffs. I mean, the numbers were outstanding, over 72% completions, close to 900 yards. What went right for you in the postseason?
Yeah, you know, we just started playing good football. We got hot at the right time, and, you know, sometimes that's the most important thing is just to be able to play good football at the right time, and we were able to do that.
Congratulations, Ricky. Enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, they turned it around with that win late in the year against Saskatchewan when a playoff berth hadn't been nailed down yet.
Beat the Edmonton Eskimos on the crossover in the semifinal. His former team in what was an emotional game for him, and then went to Montreal and knocked off the Alouettes in the Eastern Final.
How about Chad Cackert today? He's standing by with Farhan.
Chad, the 100th Grey Cup. You guys win. There was a lot of talk over the last couple weeks about how they felt it was destiny for you guys to be here and to win this. Put it into words for me.
I can't. I consider myself somewhat of a wordsmith on my free time, and I can't explain this right now. It really hadn't hit me yet. I was sitting there watching the clock tick. It felt like an hour for that last minute to go away, and we're here, and I can't wait to go celebrate with my boys. This has been one unbelievable journey, and we made it.
How much did you appreciate the faith that they had to put this on you, Ricky Ray going for there, but also, I mean, the job that you did on the ground today?
Just one small part of it. Piecing together a team that would come together and appreciate the opportunity we had and really take advantage of it. And you saw our defense do everything they could out there, and our special teams. The offense did a great job up front.
What does Ricky Ray mean to this team?
Success. We're here. We've accomplished our goal. And we're going to enjoy this for a few months, and then it's next year.
We'll go enjoy it right now. Congratulations, Chad.
Thank you so much.
Chad Cackert, who loves to go on long-distance drives, will be driving in the fast lane. Let's go down, and here's Farhan.
Scott, you're a Grey Cup champion in your first year as a head coach in the 100th Grey Cup. What does that mean?
I'm just so proud of these guys. They stuck with it all year. They kept believing, and we didn't start fast again tonight, but it's how you finish, and the guys finished.
And they responded really quickly after that first interception to take the lead. How important was Ricky's poise through all of that?
I think it was very important. Our defense got us going when they turned it over, and Ricky took them down, and we played with the lead the rest of the game. So just got a lot of pride for these guys.
I want to ask you about your defense. There was a lot of controversy about Chris Jones and his arrival here in Toronto, but the game plan was masterful.
Yeah, he's done a tremendous job against them 3 times now, and you have to stop Cornish, and for the most part tonight we did that.
You're still in your 30s. You're a young coach. You talked about always wanting to be a coach and the influence your dad had. I mean, what are you thinking about at this moment that you've done this so fast?
I just feel fortunate to be a part of this, and we've worked long and hard for 6 months to get here, and we're gonna enjoy it and have some fun tonight.
Thanks for this. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Consider the new coaching blood that's come into the Canadian Football League in the last few years. Scott Milanovic goes to the top of the list. We've got so many good young coaches, and Scott Milanovic with his great offensive background has turned this into a pretty dangerous team as Matt Black celebrates with his family. Another one of those local guys out of Northern Secondary. Farhan Lalji standing by with another GTA product.
Ricky, when you recovered that early fumble, I saw you go up to the top of the Argos bench and you looked at the fans and said, "This is my city." As a local guy to do this, what does it mean?
It means the world to me, man. Like I envision this, you know what I mean? Like I worked my whole. It's like the moments like someone that I worked my whole life for. I sacrificed so much for it. Now that it happened, man, it's just like I didn't know what to do because it's so much bigger than me, and it's like it's for my team, man, and my family right there. And it's just something that, like, I could have never, you know, 3 years ago, man, is what I signed here for, man. And I don't know. I think I should be feeling more good about myself, man. But I'm just so happy for my team being here, man, and my family. And, you know, all my friends who believed in me when nobody else did. I was doing nothing but my life, man. They stuck by me and believed in me. My best friend growing up, he flew here on his own dime all the way from Winnipeg, man. My girl here from Vancouver, man. And it's just,
Ain't nothing like this right now for a Toronto boy raised in Canada, man. We dream about the Grey Cup. Americans dream about the Super Bowl, man. And we living our dreams today being with GTA.
And you're the outstanding Canadian in this game, and you've got so many good ones, including the 12 GTA guys. Does that make it mean that much more?
Yeah, what more you want? Like, we won the Grey Cup. I don't even know. Like, I'm Canadian great, but like, it's like I don't even know what else to say. Like, icing on the cake, I guess. I don't know, man. I don't even know. So.
Ricky Foley, an exceptional game on defense. Now with the anchor of that defense, here's Sarah Orlesky with Chris Jones.
Well, Chris Jones, you didn't speak to the media throughout the week, but now it's our first chance to talk to you here. Was there something extra? Was there something personal in this one for you?
Well, I mean, it was a great game. I mean, anytime you get a chance to play for a Grey Cup championship, especially the 100th, I mean, there's something very special, regardless of who we were playing. So, amazing group.
You know how much John Cornish means to that Calgary offense. How is it that you were able to shut him down?
Well, all credit goes to the players executing the game plan. They did a good job of stopping him. We had a few keys on their run game, and they executed the game plan.
Put this type of win into perspective for us, just with you coming here in your first year, Ricky Ray, Scott Milanovich's first year as the head coach, and this being the 100th Grey Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, I mean, Scott and I are great friends. We live together in Montreal. Everybody knows that. And Jim Barker and I coached together 2 times. And to bring Ricky Ray, who was my nemesis so many years over in Edmonton, throwing corner routes, to have him here and to put all this together in such a short period of time, I mean, it's a credit to, you know, Jim Barker, Scott Milanovich, and our coaching staff and the players. I mean, it's outstanding.
I know you're looking for your family. Go find them. Enjoy this win.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. See y'all next year.
Well, this 100th Grey Cup Festival would have been a huge success without the Argos even being in the big game, but their presence in this performance tonight certainly has put them back in the sports conversation in the market. A big step forward, and you know they're hoping this is one Grey Cup hangover that might linger a bit.
Well, no question, and they can build on this win. Chris Jones, by the way, John Cornish had just 57 yards rushing in this Grey Cup.
And that is 3 times this year they lined up against Cornish and stopped him under 100 all 3 times. Well, let's head down for the presentations and join Brian Williams.
All right, Chris Cuthbert, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can have your attention, please. I got to tell you, this is perfect symmetry. 100 years ago, the University of Toronto rugby football team won the first Grey Cup, and today the Toronto Argonauts have won the 100th Grey Cup. All right. In just a minute, we are going to witness history as the Grey Cup is presented for the 100th time. But first, we have some awards to hand out. Rod.
All right, Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Commissioner of the Canadian Football League, Mark Cohon, who will make the presentations to the most outstanding player and the most outstanding Canadian of the 100 Grey Cup.
Mesdames et messieurs, c'est maintenant le moment de vous présenter les gagnants des titres de joueurs par excellence et de joueurs canadiens par excellence. Veuillez accueillir pour la présentation le commissaire de la Ligue canadienne, Monsieur Mark Cohon.
The most outstanding player of the 100 Grey Cup from the Toronto Argonauts, number 44, running back, Chad Kackert.
Le joueur par excellence du 100e match de la Coupe Grey, les Argonauts de Toronto, le numéro 44, Chad Kackert.
Ladies and gentlemen, I believe the 100th Grey Cup train is still rolling, and he's right here, number 44, Chad Kackert. 28 touches for 195 yards in the 100th Grey Cup. Chad, did you ever think something like that was possible 2 years ago when you first put on an Argonaut uniform?
You got to believe in something, right?
Well, we believe in you. You're outstanding. What was the key for you tonight?
Just playing football. I mean, there's a lot going on out here, and it's been a lot to take in. And we've been appreciating every moment. But when it comes down to it, after that kickoff, it's just football. And we got to go out there and we did what we've been doing all season.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3 games, 64 touches, 488 yards, and 3 TDs. Chad Carrigan, MOP, in the 100th Grey Cup. Give it up.
And now, the presentation of the most outstanding Canadian for this 100th Grey Cup. From the Toronto Argonauts, number 95, defensive end, Ricky Foley.
Le joueur par excellence canadien du 100e match de la Coupe Grey, le numéro 95, the Argonauts, Ricky Foley.
Toronto, your very own from Curtis, Ontario, Ricky Foley. Tremendous game, 4 tackles, you had a sack, a fumble recovery, and then you're flying down on special teams making it happen. Ricky, you were playing a different system with Chris Jones this year. We're coming off the edge, living in the backfield like we're accustomed to, but you came up big when the team needed the most tonight in the 100th Grey Cup. What was the advantage?
Now, I don't care about all that, man. That's in the past. Everything we went through, man, it made us stronger. I just care. These fans were so supportive, man. Thank you so much, fans. You had us. I'm back the whole time, man. I swear to God, you guys helped us win this game so much, man. They talk about other teams in the CFL, the 13th man. Today, we were the best 13th man in the CFL, baby.
Ricky Foley, your most outstanding Canadian. One more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commissioner of the Canadian Football League, Mark Cohon, I'm not sure you can verbalize your thoughts at a time like this.
It's been an incredible year. It's pretty simple. All I want to say is thank you to our fans across this country. You are the best fans in the world. Congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioner. It has truly been a remarkable season of celebration, a week of celebration here in the Metro Toronto area. We are about to witness history, as I said. The University of Toronto football rugby won the first. The Toronto Argonauts have won the 100th. 99 times the Grey Cup has been presented. It has gone from hand to hand from so many champions. Ladies and gentlemen, it is about to be presented for the 100th time.
There's the Grey Cup, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this historic moment as Normie Kwong receives the Grey Cup. On behalf of football fans everywhere in Canada, it's a pleasure to present the Grey Cup. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are champions of Canada. Hamilton 13, Saskatchewan 10. Champion Eskimos, Grey Cup champions. One of the most memorable occasions in the history of sport in Canada.
It is my pleasure to present the 100th Grey Cup to your hometown Toronto Argonauts.
Celebration is on here in Toronto. The 100th Grey Cup champions, the Toronto Argonauts, and we'll hear more from the winners when we return to Rogers Centre in Toronto. I know your name on that cup, it has a special feeling, doesn't it?
Well, so many emotions rushing through you right now for those players for the Toronto Argonauts. They're thinking about their family. They're thinking about their high school coaches. And they're thinking about the great players that went before them whose names are on that cup. Guys like Moon, Parker, Etcheverry, Kroll, Clemens. I mean, some of the toughest players in men you'll ever meet, like Bobby Jurison, Ben Zambiazzi, John Hilton, Angelo Mosca, Wayne Harris. That's the guys that went before you, and all of that emotion is right now what those players are going through, and man, it's a feeling that it's hard to describe.
A number of years from now, we'll say Chad Owen's name's on that cup, and he's standing by with Farnham.
Chad, when you won the MOP, you said it really didn't matter. It was all about this game. Now you've done that. Take us through your emotions here.
Oh, man, just so much emotions, man. So much going through my mind. Defense, man, just played one hell of a game, and we're just so happy and proud of each other. We did it. We set a goal, and we've accomplished the ultimate goal.
For you personally, you scored the early touchdown, but then it seemed Calgary did everything they could to take you away. But did it matter at all?
It didn't matter. This is a team game. You can take me away, Chad Kacker's got you. You can take him away, Andre Dury's got you. We've got so many weapons, and the guys we all stuck together, and everybody made plays when the plays were there to be made.
You've become a very beloved figure here in Toronto. What was it like for you to play in front of a crowd like this? You haven't had that here before.
It's just been amazing. It was amazing. I just want to say thank you to all the fans who came out tonight and supported. We're very happy that we're able to pull this one off for you guys, and it's only going to get better.
Thanks for this, Chad. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chris?
Well, it's the Hollywood ending for the Toronto Argonauts, but it doesn't always happen this way, although it is the last 2 years a home team wins. But over the last 62 years, it hasn't happened very often, has it?
Well, you take a look at those last two, though. Seems to be a trend. 2011, the BC Lions beat Winnipeg. This year, Toronto beats the Calgary Stampeders. Next year, we're in Saskatchewan.
16th Grey Cup victory for the Argos, 2 at home, including this. And with John Hufnagel standing by is Sarah Orlesky.
Coach, this Stampeders team had won 13 of their last 15 games coming into today. What happened?
We just didn't play well enough, for especially the first half. That's the first part. We have to tackle better. We have to try to get touchdowns instead of settling for field goals, and too many penalties. So all the things that we were doing pretty good to enable us to win those other games, we didn't do very well today.
One of the things heading into this game that we heard was that with all of the talk about Kevin Glenn and the emotions and everything, did it feel as if he had difficulty getting settled into a rhythm today?
He had a difficult day, especially the start of it, and which Toronto was able to capitalize on. But he got into a rhythm a bit as the game progressed, and then the only thing is we weren't able to punch the ball in the end zone, and that's really hurt us.
Thank you, John.
All right.
Well, the celebration on Chris Jones, such a huge part of it with his family, his 3rd Grey Cup, and the 100th here in Toronto.
What a moment, and what a postseason, what a finish to this chapter for Ricky Ray in his first year in Double Blue. The guys in the booth mentioned that he now has 8 touchdown passes in Grey Cup games, 1 shy of the record held by Anthony Calvillo, but Calvillo's 9 touchdown passes came in 8 Grey Cups. Ricky's got 8 in 4 Grey Cups, and he's got another Grey Cup ring coming. Hi, everybody. Welcome inside the Rogers Centre once again. Dave with the panel here. Where do we start? What do we talk about? Ricky Ray or Chad Cacker's unbelievable performance, or the Toronto defense, or Calgary? Did they show up or not, or were they just beaten by a more sound team on the day? Let's just go up the river. Get your thoughts on the 100th Grey Cup show.
You said the word, the team. My number one observation is there were two different types of teams. The Toronto Argonauts, they were playing at this level in terms of intensity. The Calgary Stampeders at that level. It was not so much that the Calgary Stampeders did not show up. It was that the Toronto Argonauts really did. From our vantage point, we're close enough. We can see the hitting. We can see the players flying around. They took John Cornish out of this game physically. And then the Calgary Stampeders did not have a plan B. But the intensity was on the side of the Argonauts. It was not on the side of the Stampeders.
Well, Chris Jones, defensive coordinator for the Toronto Argonauts, said he was in a chess match. And I think at halftime he was basically saying, checkmate. He totally confused Dave Dickerson and Kevin Glenn. He didn't allow them to run the ball. He didn't allow them to throw the ball downfield. Price, Robbie Brown, I think they had 4 catches for like 40-something yards. He didn't let that big play get going. He didn't let John Cornish get going. I thought Dave Dickerson would come out in that second half and possibly get Cornish going out of the backfield with some pass plays. But Chris Jones confusing the entire game. He did an excellent job, and you have to commend him, and that was a big reason why they were able to win this game, Matt.
Well, before the football game, we talked about whether or not it was going to be Chad Cackert or John Cornish, and who was easier to take out. Well, obviously it was John Cornish, and Toronto's had his number in 3 games in 2012. Chad Cackert is a multi-dimensional player. You can use him out of backfield, get him in space, and that's exactly what Ricky Ray did. 28 touches for 195 yards, and he simply stole the show. Ball control offense by the Toronto Argonauts. They're very patient. They're a well-disciplined football team, and certainly the better team on the day, proven on both sides of the football. Maybe not so much the special teams, because Larry Taylor was a bright spot for the Calgary Stampeders, but on this day, it was Ricky Ray, calm, cool, and collected, utilizing Chad Cackert out of the backfield, and it was fun to watch.
You know, Ricky Ray has talked about the fact that Scott Milanovich's system is all about checkdowns, and 8 catches for Chad Cackert goes to show you that that was very much in evidence. You know, before the game, we also talked to some defensive linemen for the Toronto Argos who wanted to keep Cornish outside the tackle box, and they did that. They stuffed up the middle, knowing that he's not able to bounce outside. Chad Cackert, he can bounce outside. You give him a crease, he's going to hit it 100 miles an hour, but if it's stopped up, he's going to go outside. He was 2-dimensional, and they made John Cornish 1-dimensional, and that's why this game ended the way it did as far as I was concerned.
This is a team that missed the playoffs completely a year ago. They missed the playoffs 2 of the last 3 seasons. Late in the season, they went through a stretch where they lost 5 of 6 games, but the Toronto Argonauts caught fire at the right time. They won their last 2 of the regular season. They rolled through the playoffs, and they put an emphatic stamp on this one, on their home field in the 100th Grey Cup, dominating the Calgary Stampeders 35-22.